Welcome to another episode of Listen to Us Rant About Movies. I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
We rant about movies and drink while we do it. Today we have a special guest with us on the podcast. Welcome to the show, Charlie Peter.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey man.
Good. Welcome on. Welcome to the show.
Thanks
on
for
this
having
episode,
me.
Yeah, no worries. On this episode, we're gonna be discussing what we've been watching. Just a couple things, just to get us warmed up, and that's gonna be followed by in-depth reviews of Uncut Gems and Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. And we're gonna have separate non-spoilers and spoiler segments for both of those, in case you don't want to be spoiled. Tonight we're drinking three separate things. We weren't able to get the same, but I'll start off. Mine is a Brooklyn Winter Lager. Never had this before, but it's a seasonal ale, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Winter time, you know.
Hell yeah, very nice. I'm drinking classic Bell's Best Brown. The Bell's Best Brown.
Okay. Bell's Best Brown.
Which I had a long time ago, and my liquor store was ravaged, and there were a few options, and I went, you know what? I remember that being real good. And it is.
Hey, Bell's is a good brewery, you know?
Oh, I'm a fan. I was just trying to find something like that pertained in some way. You know what I mean? But it's like, fuck it. I'm going. I guess there's maybe a slight brown connection, the opening of Uncut Gems, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. That's good. That was a good connection there.
Really,
and Charlie,
reaching.
what you drinking?
I got a Grolsch. It's a Dutch lager. It's kind of just what I had in my house because I got stuck at the office late.
I got you, man.
Wonderful. Yeah, Zach was working late too.
Yep. Got pushed back.
Well, let's go ahead and give it a sip.
Give it a chip.
No, I say
Dunk your chip in the beer. I'm in.
It's good.
Daddy like.
It's like a dark malty winter type lager, you know? Reminds me of Samuel Adams Winter Lager.
Yeah, I was about
Just
to
like a
ask
dark...
if that's what it reminded you of.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice. You know,
What
I
about
haven't.
you, Charlie? You like yours?
Yeah, mine's it's a lager. It tastes like beer. And
Yep.
That's usually what I go for.
Sounds good.
I wouldn't know. I don't know if mine's the best brown, but it's very good. So I'm gonna. I gotta try a few more browns. You know what I mean? It's probably the best brown I've had, but like, how many browns have I had? I'm not a brown expert.
Yeah, if you find like Cigar City Maduro, that's a pretty solid brown from like
That's
Tampa.
a pretty solid brown.
Haven't had that brown.
Yeah, totally.
I gotta get sip with some of that brown.
I like the brown ales. They're good stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan.
So anyway, Charlie and I, we work together. He's a software engineer. And do you want to just tell us a little bit about what kind of movies and beer you're into, Charlie? Other than lagers?
Yeah, for the most part, as far as movies are concerned, I watch a little bit of everything. I do enjoy myself a good bad movie. So have a nice little collection of those with things like Jim Cotta, Samurai Cop, and a local Orlando favorite, Miami Connection, which was actually filmed at UCF. And then,
That's a good one.
Yeah. With beers and everything, I got I was pretty big on stouts when I started, but honestly I probably go for brown ales more often than not if I'm doing a craft beer. I usually just...
So you're the brown expert over here. Have you had the Bell's Best
brown?
Yeah,
we got it. We got a brown expert over here.
Oh. You know, there's a lot of good different browns. You know, like Duke's Brown Ale. It's got that bulldog on it, and
that's a good one. Yeah.
You can always go for a Nuki. Newcastle.
Yeah. Don't know if. Oh, Newcastle, of course. Yeah, that's a classic.
Newcastle's classic for sure.
Yeah.
Have you had the best brown? What's your stance on it being the best?
I don't think I've tried that. I've tried a lot from. Are you saying was it Bell's or Oberon?
Yeah. Bell's.
Yeah, I've tried a few from them, but I haven't tried that one. I've tried the Oberon and like the Two Hearted because that's usually what gets around to bars and everything.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
And Two Hearted's pretty good bang for your buck at a bar with it being like 6% and everything.
Absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, that's a good one. Apparently, I saw a billboard when I was traveling over the holidays. There's a billboard in Cincinnati, of all places. I drove through there, and it said #1 beer in America, and it was a picture of Bell's Too Hard, and I was like,
what?
Well, I'm like, what?
You mean it's not like Busch
if
Light
that's
or
true,
Budweiser?
like, if that's true, like, okay,
yeah,
I'm
cool.
for that. Like,
I'm happy
it's
about
a great
that.
surprise.
Yeah, would not expect that though.
No, I know, but it was kind of a shock,
Yeah.
just seeing that.
That's like if you were on like a game show and it was like most popular beer in America, and it's like a Budweiser, Miller Lite, or Bell's Too Hard. It's like,
Right.
well, no fucking way I'm picking Bell's Too Harded,
Yeah,
And then they tell you the answer, and you're like, oh, God.
Yeah. It's not Bud Light? What?
Yeah, you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I'm questioning the viability of that billboard you saw.
Maybe it's #1 critical beer in America.
Maybe there's a disclaimer that I missed.
Like
but it was a legit.
Or...
It was like a legit nice looking ad, with a nice bottle on the cover.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Hell yeah.
But,
I mean, I'm in. I'm happy about it.
So before we get into what we've been watching, we'd like to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/LTURAM. You can choose from 180,000 titles from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. If you like what you hear on this episode, remember you can find other episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into the episode now. Let's talk about what we've been watching. We're going to talk about 2 things each. Charlie, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. Let's see. I did some flying over the weekend, so
Nice.
So there was actually some fun movies on the plane. I was able to watch Big Trouble in Little China. Don't know why they had that on there, but
that on a plane is amazing.
yeah,
That's great.
Dug into that, and it was a pretty fun watch on the plane. There's a lot of that movie I don't remember, but when you rewatch it, it's still fun to realize how useless Kurt Russell's character is.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the whole
absolutely.
movie.
Just gets like knocked out before the big fight.
Yeah. He spends half the movie just on the ground when it's finally like action scenes and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And then
I haven't seen that movie in years, but I remember it being fun.
Watch, dude. It's solid.
I've got it on Blu-ray. Got it on the Blue.
Watch that baby blue, buddy.
I gotta watch it again. Rewatch it soon. Yeah.
just get that playing on your nice TV. You got your big setup down there.
I know. It deserves a rewatch. That's gonna happen soon.
I'll tell you, it's aged pretty well. Those John Carpenter films are pretty stand the test of time pretty well.
Yeah, they hold up super well.
Yeah, man.
And visually too. Like I have some of them on 4K, and they look great.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Big Trouble comes out.
There are definitely some parts of Big Trouble in Little China where you see like they drew the lightning on frame by frame.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it doesn't look bad, but it definitely looks aged.
Oh yeah,
right.
You know, it's of its time for sure. There's such a charm to that like hand animated stuff though. I'm all about it. Like the little glow.
Yeah.
Just put a little glow, like blend it in a little, you know.
Sure. Good stuff. I finally watched this movie. Zach, you're gonna be proud of me. I watched Her Smell.
Hell yeah.
Dude. Great movie.
It's surprisingly good, isn't it?
It's like really good.
Yeah.
In fact, I fucking love it.
The sound design is unbelievable.
It's insane. It was, I guess it's a minor complaint, but it's something that I understand. Is it's at parts it's hard to understand what they're saying because there's just so much going on, and the sound design like it's very heavy. Because they're basically backstage a lot of the movie, and so you have that like stage presence, like so that echo, and as someone who was like at the time trying to keep the volume at a reasonable level because my wife was working, it was a little hard to understand, but I get what they were going for with that. Like,
totally.
I understand what the reasoning is behind that. But yeah, I love this movie. It was really good. Elizabeth Moss, I'm hit and miss with her. I think she's very talented, but I just sometimes don't like her, I guess. But I thought she was great in this movie. Really well directed, really well shot. The shots are amazing that they're able to get this, like the way, the energy, the kinetic of the kineticism of like the camera and the just like the pure chaos of. It's so well done. It's hard to describe.
It's like really anxiety inducing. Just like, oh my god, she's coming back, and you can like hear it like sloshing around in the background. It's like, oh, she's coming. You just feel like someone could like bust in at any moment and just like it would go bad. You know what I mean?
It's probably, there's two very anxiety inducing movies that came out this year. This one, another one we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is one of them. Very anxiety inducing. A great cast that I really was not expecting a lot from, like Cara Delevingne and Ashley Benson. I thought they were great in it. Eric Stoltz is in this movie.
Yeah, crazy.
Which is fantastic. Even Amber Heard, she did her role well. So yeah,
is Dan Stevens in it, or am I crazy?
He is in it.
He's good too. I like him.
Yeah, he's really good. For those who don't know what it's about, it's basically about this punk rocker who is kind of past her prime, but she's self-destructive and is an addict. And so it's sort of showing her downfall and her trying to reconcile with some of her decisions that she's made. And she's a mess. She's a total mess. And you kind of see how that plays out and how she attempts to recover from that. And I when that moment switches after her, I don't want to give too much away either, but there's a moment where she has hit her peak and she's like, this is her complete self-destructive moment. Right after that, the peace and quiet after that was just so, I don't know, it was very compelling just to have that switch. And it was just sort of like a shock back to reality. And I thought that was really well done.
Absolutely. Would you say it was similar to that scene in Mandy when he just walks back into the Cheddar Goblin commercial?
Similar, but probably better executed, I'd say.
I honestly thought Her Smell was a werewolf movie for some reason. I've only heard the title of that movie. No context for anything else. And I'm like, seems like a werewolf movie, like Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like a high school, it's funny.
Yeah. But anyway, I recommend everyone check this out. Definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I give it 5 stars.
Hell
it's fantastic.
It's a banger.
Yeah. Yep.
I was very surprised. I was like, oh shit. I thought it was going to be good, but like I was not expecting it to be that like impactful.
It's very good. It's a movie that I feel like will deserve multiple viewings to sort of fully flesh out the emotions and everything that's happening. It's just there's so much going on. It's literally almost like a documentary. There's just people running around, partying, just like it's very anxiety inducing, like you said, and just chaotic, but it's done in such a great way, like to capture that. It's not just like chaotic to the point of I don't understand what's going on at all. Like I understand everything that's happening, but there's just a lot of it. And I look forward to kind of reviewing it again and kind of diving into it more in depth now that I know what happens.
Yeah, I gotta pick up that Baby Blue. I might do that.
Yeah.
Rewatch that bad boy. I watched Atlantics. It's a Netflix movie Netflix bot. I don't think they produced it, but came out this year. Really, really good. I don't really want to talk too much about it because I didn't know what it was about, and I was surprised. So, but I don't know. It reminded me a lot of I can't pronounce his name, the guy who did Cemetery of Splendor and Uncle Boone Me. It kind of has that vibe where it's like practical mysticism almost, and like very real feeling fantasy, like small scale, which is really cool. So there's like some sort of strange elements like that in there that I really enjoyed, but also I just thought all the performances were really great, and it was just very well directed. It's on Netflix. It's like an hour 40, pretty swift watch, pretty engaging. I'd recommend it. It's like a good one to be on Netflix. It's like, hell yeah, this is I'm glad this movie's like getting, something.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What country is it from? It looks like it's like a foreign film.
I think it's from Senegal. Yeah.
That's great. It's on Netflix.
It's very good. You should check it out.
Sounds good.
A lot of hidden gems on Netflix.
Yeah, man.
Totally. Charlie, you got another one to talk about?
The only other one I had was I was rewatching some of the Star Wars movies to get ready for Rise of Skywalker, and Phantom Menace has aged into a great good bad movie.
I watched it recently too, but I rewatched all of them before the new one. Oh, yeah. So I saw it recently too, and I know what you mean.
Like, I just sat there, kind of got drunk, and there's so much quotable shenanigans, and for all the flack that they get for the political stuff, that movie doesn't really slow down nearly as much as the second one, where that one was like a pain.
The second one is, in my opinion, the worst Star Wars movie ever made. In my opinion.
But
Episode 2 is brutal.
Phantom Menace definitely worth the fun rewatch. Get a couple friends together, quote some of the dumb Anakin things, like, it's working, and that one producer's kid who just comes up and goes, "That's Wizard Annie."
Are you an angel?
Yeah, like there's so much of that movie that's just super memeable right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you seen modern Jake Lloyd? Has anyone checked in on old Jake?
He's in like a institution or something, right?
Oh wait, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Dude, he's actually a schizophrenic. Yeah.
Oh man, what a bummer.
He's prescribed schizophrenia. Yeah, it's we can make fun of him, but like his now it's kind of a tragedy.
I don't blame him for that movie at all, and when it came out I was also like a kid, so it's like
I
didn't really know that side of the Star Wars fan base. Because apparently the Jar Jar guy had a really rough time too. Yeah,
he got bullied a lot for the Jar Jar character.
Yeah.
It's like not his fault, It's like, what are you gonna do?
Totally.
But yeah, man, it had some negative effects on some people's lives. And we can I guess this is kind of a good segue eventually into Rise of Skywalker, but what's really interesting about that movie too is like it's the only one that has like a real honest documentary about the making of it. Have you guys ever seen this?
No.
I haven't watched that one. I know there's one for like episode 3 that was pretty good.
I haven't seen the episode 3 one, but episode 1 is kind of a little more well known because it talks a lot about the struggles they had with making the movie, and like you see a lot of like bad things that like a production company probably wouldn't want you to see. Like this documentary would never be made under Disney, because it's all puff piece and nothing goes wrong and this movie's great, everyone has to go see it. It's all marketing now. But like this was a true documentary about like the making of this movie with George Lucas, and he talks about how some things don't work even though they're in the movie, and like it's really interesting. You should definitely check it out.
I'll check that out.
That's where the quote from him where he goes like, "It's dense, there's so much happening in every scene." Is that from that
exactly. That's where that comes from.
Okay, cool. I like a side note. Rian Johnson had a very similar thing to say after watching an edit of Last Jedi.
Oh yeah.
What did he say?
Just something really similar where it's like, oh, there's so much going on, and I imagine we can get into it later with Rise of Skywalker.
Well, that Blu-ray has a great documentary too. It's called The Director and the Jedi. And I watched that one too, and It's close. Even though it's under Disney, it does delve a little bit into some of the problems, and you get to see really like behind the scenes stuff. But it's not as like, it doesn't show all the like nitty gritty guts like episode 1 does.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's worth checking out, man. If you have that Blu-ray compendium that came out.
Yeah, man.
It's on there.
Oh,
it's on
there,
there, dude.
That biz out.
I'm running my old DVDs.
Oh, you've been watching the DVDs, huh?
Yeah, actually, my DVDs of the original trilogy have the theatrical cuts on them. They're just in tiny 4:3 aspect ratio and don't fit my TV at all. But
yeah, I have those still too.
Yeah,
I have those
I held
DVDs.
on to those as well. But yeah, they're letterboxed and pillar boxed, right? I just remember putting it on.
Yeah,
all
they're
sides.
It's all sides, and it's like you're watching, like, if you remember that episode of Ed and Eddie where they go to Rolf's house and watch on his TV. Where there's just like this tiny little box in the middle of the screen, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they really just don't want anyone to watch those. No word yet if they're going to be on that 4K set, right? I'm guessing no.
No. They definitely have to release one for Return of the Jedi with the new trilogy and everything, but...
Apparently, J.J. Abrams is pushing Disney to release the theatrical cuts on 4K.
Yeah, like he has any pull there.
Yeah, probably not, but he's a little more influenced than anyone else. So
I wonder if George had it in his contract, though. Do you think he was like, never fucking show these ever again?
He might, man. Might have been part of it. Who knows?
Because I'd imagine Disney... Do you know how many more units of that, like, $200 box set they'll sell if they put the originals in there? Like, so many more people will buy them. Like, people who don't have a 4K player will buy them just to have the huge box with them in it. You know what I mean?
They have to put in the work, you know? I mean, they got to put in the work and clean it up like they did with the remastered ones.
So if I know Disney, I know they love money. So it seems like something they would do.
Yeah, we'll see.
And they can afford it.
Yeah, or what they'll actually probably do is not put it in this new set, which you saw, right? The like big 20-some disc set or something that comes out next year.
Yeah, with like documentaries and stuff in there too.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't see this. They officially announced a 4K.
Yeah, whole Skywalker saga, all 4K. Big hardbound book box.
Does it have like a Solo and Rogue One too?
No, it only has the
just the Skywalker
9 episodes or whatever.
So the 9 episodes,
Which is kind of a bummer because Rogue One hasn't come out on Blu-ray or on 4K. So it's like, well, shit, are you gonna put that out? Like, come on, guys.
It's technically on Disney Plus, but
that bit rate though,
not the same.
I want to see.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. I thought I heard that somewhere today, but it was I was listening to an older episode of you guys this morning.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
That's awesome. All right, well, moving on. I saw another movie. I saw this yesterday, actually. Yeah, on New Year's Day. Emily and we went and saw Little Women.
Nice.
Yeah. Greta Gerwig's new movie, big cast. So I didn't really know anything about the original material. I've never seen any Little Women movie.
It's a Jane Austen novel, right?
Louisa May Alcott.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't really know much about the material. I know it's like beloved by a lot of people. So I went in and overall I really enjoyed it. It's a great movie. I just don't think like it's one that I'll probably ever watch again, you know. Mm-hmm. I really felt the length of this movie. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, which isn't super long, but you feel those 2 hours. And which is kind of insane because I feel like it has a somewhat fast pace, but there's so much that happens. I guess it's
I feel like that's
a novel.
Yeah, that's classic like novel stuff where it's just like, oh yeah, there's like a lot of shit to get through in here, you know.
Right.
It's got like a G rating, right?
I have no idea. I'm
pretty sure it's like a surprisingly low rating. Like, I don't know. I thought a movie called Little Women that was a comedy would at least be like a PG, but I thought I remember hearing it was a G.
I could see it be PG. I don't know. I mean, there's some stuff in it that could be. I don't know. I don't consider it a G movie. It's interesting, but either way, everyone's good in this movie. The cast is great. Saoirse Ronan's awesome. Florence Pugh is just an amazing talent. Timothy Chalamet, whatever. I think he's overrated, but he does a fine job. There is a surprise cameo in here. Do you guys want to hear it?
No.
Okay.
Well, I can also take off my headphones, and if you want to hear it. But I'm going to see it this weekend, so.
Oh, don't look at IMDb then.
Okay, yeah, I won't.
I'll go look at the IMDb on my own and save.
It's fine. I won't say it. I won't spoil it. But it is an interesting cameo that I did not expect.
Okay.
Okay. And but yeah, overall, I really like it. It's a decent movie, worth a watch. I just don't, like I said, I don't think I would revisit it just because it's not like my kind of thing, But it might be for other people. I think it's really well directed. But it wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be more comedic, and it's not really funny. It's more of a drama romance, historical type, Jane Austen-esque, very much so, but not that funny. I don't think it's supposed to be, but yeah, I don't know. It was good, worth checking out.
Nice,
great talent, and I can see it getting some awards. So
nice.
That's Little Women. Yeah. Well, one more thing I'll say is I thought because this is famous. It's famously known to have switched around the timeline because instead of like a linear story, it goes back and forth.
Okay.
Like all over the place, and that got a little confusing for me.
Okay.
But I did respect the decisions that it makes with that format.
Okay.
It's a very interesting way of editing the movie. So, yeah.
Nice.
Check it out.
Hell yeah.
All right, Zach. Last one.
I watched Hustlers. Came out.
Nice. I want to check that out.
Yeah,
actually.
With J-Lo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Like,
I heard it's good.
Yeah, it definitely is like kind of riding the like Scorsese like rise fall sort of like vibe. You know what I mean? Where like things start, things are good. Show the minutia of the thing. Things get weird. With like, it has like a framing device, which I wasn't really crazy about, of like people telling the story. I think I would have rather just seen it like work itself out linearly. But I did enjoy it. I will say there's not enough Cardi B in it. She's barely in the fucking movie. And there's not enough Lizzo either. She's like even less in the movie than Cardi B. And it's like they're both on the cover, and I was like, oh shit, Cardi B and Lizzo in this movie? And they're like combined screen time of 5 minutes. Like not very long. It's kind of a bummer. But everyone else was really good in it though. Like, I mean, for what it is, it's corny and like fun, but there's a lot of like cool stuff in it, and I thought it was like pretty well made. Very entertaining.
Nice. It looked fun, and I heard good things about it. So.
It was solid. It's just like a good watch, and I watched it with my girlfriend. And then after, she was like reading and looking into all the people in it, and like there's some things that like sounded like that were like kind of like okay, whatever, like that. When something's based on a true story, they make a point of it. Sometimes like things come off as cheesy, but then you realize they're in there, and they're only in there because they're real. You know what I mean? So it's like a thing where it's like, I don't know, one of them was like J-Lo gets her photo taken like at the end of the movie, and she's like flipping off the camera like and then when you look it up, it's like based off an actual photo of the person. So in the movie it like freeze frames of her like with her tongue out flipping off the camera, and I was like, pretty ridiculous, but then like that's a real thing. You know what I mean? So I think there's certain things like that I thought was interesting, like that seem heightened, but it's like based off that what actually happened, which is kind of interesting. Yeah,
it's based on a true story, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was a fun movie. Enjoyed it.
Cool. All right, man.
You know what wasn't based on a true story?
Right? Something that we're going to be talking about next. We're going to go into non-spoilers first for Uncut Gems, starting right now.
How you doing, Holly? How's it going? How are you? What's Pesach out? All right, Larry, you're a Jew again. Welcome back. I made a crazy risk, a gamble, and it's about to pay off. So I want the Celtics to cover. I want the Celtics halftime. I want Garnett points and rebounds. What do you know? I don't know. I just know.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. It's the dumbest fucking bet I ever heard of.
I disagree. I disagree, Gary.
What is that?
I started it.
Are you serious?
You're taking my money all over town, placing bets.
I'm having very serious second thoughts.
Are you serious right now?
I know I fucked up.
Howard, where's the money right now?
Howard, got my money? Howard! Is it too late? I'm done. It means nothing. It meant nothing. Please. Give me another shot.
All right, a description from IMDb. A charismatic New York City jeweler, always on the lookout for the next big score, makes a series of high-stakes bets that could lead to the windfall of a lifetime. Howard must perform a precarious, high-wire act, balancing business, family, and encroaching adversaries on all sides in his relentless pursuit of the ultimate whim. That is a description from IMDb. It is directed by Benny Safdie and Josh Safdie, the Safdie brothers, and stars Adam Sandler, Julia Fox, Kevin Garnett, which is kind of crazy, and The Weeknd and some other people, Idina Menzel.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into this movie. So Zach, why don't you start off with some non-spoiler thoughts?
Well, I loved it. I thought it was a banger. I was all about it. I was really excited for it. I like their movies. I think pretty much each one I've seen throughout their filmography has gotten progressively better. So I was like excited because it's like they seem to only be growing, you know? And I really liked it. I mean, I definitely understand why someone wouldn't, but I thought the pace was it's just so fast and stressful, and it's kind of got like the Altman vibe with like everyone yelling and talking at the same time, and it's like hard to follow, and like all that's going on, and the performances were good, and honestly I thought the sound design and the score were very good. I'm a fanboy of the guy who did the score, so I was looking forward to it, and I really liked the score quite a bit. It was probably like the thing I was most excited about in a weird way, but yeah, I was a big fan.
Charlie, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Basically sum up Zach's sentiments, where it was a really good movie. Honestly, super surprised with Adam Sandler. Dude looked like he's actually acting, which is something I haven't seen in a decade plus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, like, Anger Management was the last movie where I actually thought he was giving a shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was really great. The movie was super stressful. There were so many times I was just like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then it's just
what
like,
are you doing, dude? Like, get out of there.
it just builds up, and then at the end, but yeah, great movie. I'd recommend checking it out. From the trailers and everything, I thought it was gonna go a completely different direction than it did, but props to the movie and like well cut trailers, I guess.
Yeah, I'd agree. I pretty much agree with you guys. I thought it was a very stressful, anxiety-inducing movie, as I kind of talked about earlier. And I agree with you, Zach. I think their movies are getting better. I haven't seen Heaven Knows What, but I want to check that out at some point.
I hadn't seen it until like a couple months ago, and I really enjoyed it.
Nice. I was a big fan of Good Time, but seeing this movie, I'm like, oh man, I feel like they're really hitting their groove now. Like this movie is very well made in my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought Adam Sandler was fantastic. I thought just the whole cast was great. I'm a big fan of Lakeith Stanfield. He was great.
Who's the guy?
And
finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Yes. No, go for it.
I was just gonna say the guy who he owes money to with the gray hair.
I looked him up
after the movie.
Before.
This is the first thing he's been in.
Really?
Yeah, I was blown away. I was like, I've seen that guy. Like, what was that guy? Are you talking
about
from?
like his family member or the discount Willem Dafoe looking dude?
Discount Willem Dafoe, the guy in the turtlenecks who's always like, who gets really mad at him.
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
muscle, because the other guy was in talk radio and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
I'm talking about here he is. Keith Williams Richards. Not been anything. I was just surprised by that.
He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Anyway, what were you gonna say before, Wes?
Well, real quick before I continue, I just want to point out too, like Julia Fox, who is in this movie, she's barely in anything too. She's pretty much a new actress. Definitely apparently, she's an Instagram influencer.
Oh yeah,
that's where she comes from. Yeah, she's like a influencer blogger.
That explains that one scene.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting too. But
she was great.
I fucking love the score for this movie. I was just jamming out to it. Big fan of the sound design and the music. So definitely agree with you there, Zach.
I think I'll have to check out the score separately then, based off of you guys, because I was just so engrossed with the rest of the movie that it was vaguely reminiscent of like the guy who did the soundtrack, Johan Johansson.
Yeah, I can
remember. Who did like the soundtrack for Arrival and Mandy and a few things before he passed away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Rip. He's one of my favorite composers too.
Yeah,
love that guy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you should definitely listen to it on its own. It's like just a good record, man. Like it's 1 Tricks Point Never. I guess he dropped the name for the soundtrack, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was gonna say it sounds a lot like him. Is it not? But he's going by a different name.
Yeah,
now,
just his normal name,
guy?
Daniel Lopatin. Because I guess he's like under his like when he composes. I guess he's gonna do that now or whatever. But
nice. Because I was gonna say it sounded a lot like the score for Good Time, but it's a different name. So I was like, I wasn't sure if it was the same guy.
Yeah, and it's cool because he's kind of always ebbing and flowing. But I think it had like an interesting vibe that it was almost hitting like weird like TV transition vibes, like with the kind of like digital synth noises and like the saxophone and stuff. It felt like it was like hearkening back to like an older style of score, but also still being like very inventive and electronic and sort of like experimental at times. But yeah, and I really liked the Good Time score, but I feel like it was uncharacteristic for him, but it was a more like basic approach to like a synthesized score where it was like very analog sounding and like arpeggios and like, which, hey, all that shit's gravy. And I feel like it's also not necessarily his bag all the time, but I feel like this was like a progression, and I think the soundtrack stands on its own very well. It's very good. That opening track.
I'm definitely. I can't wait to check it out. I'm gonna listen to it separately.
The whole
tomorrow, but
opening credits to this movie were a damn trip. Even the ending credits too.
So we'll get into that in spoilers, but I guess any other thoughts right now for non-spoilers?
Yeah, if you're on the fence, go see it.
Yeah, definitely go check it out. And I'd say go see it in theaters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was really good to see in theaters. I was a big fan of like the production design as well, like just like the sets, and there's a lot communicated through just that, like the kid's bedroom, like and the apartment, and
it seemed
I don't know,
like
it was
they actually filmed
even the costumes
in New York.
and stuff. I think it was, right? I mean, it was.
Like, it wasn't Toronto 100%. Or anything else. So like when you actually have New York as New York, that goes like miles to making shit more believable.
Totally.
Absolutely.
They're very New York.
Very
guys.
New York.
Yeah, they're super New York dudes. So you can tell, and I think also the casting of a lot of non-actors and just getting interesting people to play the roles that are just like small roles.
Oh, KG was pretty good in the movie too. Like, there was never a point where he distracted me that much, really.
Oh yeah, Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great,
dude. It's crazy. He had he wasn't just like an NBA cameo. No, he had acting to do.
Yeah, he's like in the movie.
Yeah. He's acting in this thing, like for real.
Yeah,
he was really good.
He was definitely in it more than I thought he would be.
Totally. And I never mind. That's a spoiler thought. Anyway, I think overall we all liked it. Go check it out, and if you haven't seen it, then skip forward to our Star Wars review, because we're going to talk spoilers for Uncut Gems right now.
You like to win, right? This is no different than that.
Black June power, nigga.
This is my fucking way.
You think I'm stupid, Howard? You and your whole fucking family. I heard you resurface your fucking swimming pool. You know how that makes me feel?
Never resurface
You think your life is more important than my life?
I don't know who said that.
I told you about how things were gonna go. You like the way things are going now?
That's my family. Get the kids out of the house.
You having a good time?
Yes. This is me. This is how I win. KJ, it's game night. You should be stretching out.
What is he, a coach?
Nah, he's just a fucking crazy ass Jew.
What I was gonna say was so they got Kevin Arnett, and apparently they tried to get Kobe Bryant for this role.
Yeah, I think they had to go through a few iterations because people just weren't available.
Different people.
If it was Kobe, would it have been LA then? Because how would Kobe work in New York?
So that's the thing. I think that's why it didn't work, because they went through several different people. Kobe was second.
Yeah.
And then they ended up and then they decided it couldn't really work because he's West Coast, and this is very an East Coast movie.
Yeah, so there's no actual interview with Kevin Garnett, I assume, where he praises this rock he found.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of interesting. They take they take a real life event, and this is what I was going to talk about. Is how did they form the script? They had to basically write the script around this game, right? Which is really interesting.
Which I think which happened because, and it's also interesting that when you change that actor, you have to change the game, which then inherently changes the movie. So
you just have to find someone good enough.
Yeah,
you change the bet. You're changing the bet. You're changing a lot of it. So that's really interesting. I don't know. It's really crazy how they made that work. You know?
It's cool.
And having
Mohegan Sun,
it's an integral part of the movie.
The Mohegan Sun is such a tied-in thing in the tri-state area, where it's you go there or Atlantic City to gamble, and and being able, there's a bunch of rich people who will just take a chopper out to the casino and.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting from a filmmaking perspective.
Absolutely.
To work a movie around a game, and then they obviously had to place it in that year. You know, which was 2003 or something.
I think it was 2012.
2012, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 2012. Okay.
Yeah, because he had a smartphone and everything, and
But it was the older iPhone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was an iPhone will say, though, 3 or 4.
I did. Very small nitpick, but I was in 2012, could you live stream TV to your phone?
If you had the money, maybe.
Yeah, and then I was I guess he's rich, so he probably could.
Well, rich is questionable.
I think you could. Yeah. I mean, think about it. That's when we were in college.
Yeah, I don't recall watching. Maybe I just didn't have the money.
I mean, I would stream ESPN or NBC back then, because I was able to use my parents' cable to just log into certain sites.
he might have been able to like dip into paying for that service, you know, the ultimate service.
Yeah, because that was like early smartphone era for me, so I'm looking at it from my perspective. Right. And it also, small nitpick, doesn't really matter in the movie. I just thought about that when he's lying on the son's floor watching the game, which was really funny. But I was like, 2012, huh? Like,
I think even if he did have the streaming, it'd be more realistic for him to be complaining about the connection to either his Wi-Fi or the 3G or whatever he had.
Yeah, totally. That quality dipping hard.
Yeah, big flaw in the movie. Definitely ruins half the movie now.
Yeah. So for that, it gets -2 stars.
No way, that's too harsh.
No, I
know. But what else? Some other spoiler thoughts.
I mean, he gets
like we had so much.
He gets shot in the
gambling.
face. What's that?
His gambling was just every single time he got money and went out to make a bet.
Oh,
made me fucking like my stomach upset.
Oh yeah, it's a movie of bad decisions.
It also, I think, did a good job at it's literally an addiction. Like, dude is addicted. Like, you are addicted to drugs. Like, he, rationalizes it so hard. The scene at the end when he decides to make the crazy bet, like, doing it out the window, it's just like, dude.
He locks the guys.
Are you fucking
and he locks the guys. And when he locks those guys in there, it's like, holy shit. And then, that whole final scene is actually just amazing how that plays out.
Totally.
It's so intense.
It's wild.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just, it's nonstop, too. How they're just yelling at each other. And even when, for one, he gives up the stone, right? He gives up the stone to Kevin Garnett, lets him hold it. It's like, that's a horrible decision. Why'd you do that?
Yep.
But he gets the ring. He gets his ring and immediately goes to the pawn shop.
Yeah,
pawns Kevin Garnett's Celtic national champions ring.
Championship ring. Immediately goes to pawn it off for cash and to pay off someone else. And I loved that how there was just constantly people like on the street, you know, just like coming up to him. And he just like always talks his way out of situations. And
he owes like,
man,
there's like those two side guys who look kind of wonky that he owes like 20 grand to or some shit like that.
And they're just like a weird smaller version of him that he has like a power trip on. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, take my Rolex. It's like a fake Rolex.
Who are you? Who the fuck are you? Get out of here.
Yeah, it's like he's no better than them. He's doing the same fucking shit. He's probably worse.
Definitely. Yeah. And then the one thing I got confused about in the movie was the guy he owes money to, Arno, is like, I didn't really realize that was his family member until that scene where they're all getting together for Passover, I want to say.
I think that was I think that was intentional.
I think that's the reveal.
At least that's the vibe I got. That because I didn't realize that either, and then I was like, oh shit, like I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, it's like then I think it's actually revealed earlier when they go to like the play, and then he's in the car. He was like at the play, and then he was also in the car when they were like driving him around for like 5 minutes, which that creates an equally confusing little timeline there. But I mean, with the pace of the movie and everything, you don't really question it. Which,
interesting.
Yeah, but let's go back to the beginning because we talked about this a little bit. But like, I didn't expect the way that it opened at all.
Yeah, it opens
like
in
for
Ethiopia
one,
or something, right?
Yeah,
opens
like,
in Ethiopia.
okay.
I was like, oh, okay, this is where it's starting. Interesting. And then getting that gem, and then like the really weird transition. I guess it could have been like a meta comment or almost like a fuck you to the audience in a way, where it's like, no, this whole time you're kind of just like staring into his asshole.
Yeah, because
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, like transitions from zooming
like the gem
from the gem into Adam Sandler's colonoscopy, where I wonder if that was an actual colonoscopy on him.
It'd be amazing if
I don't know, man.
It's like, I need to get a colonoscopy. I might as well. Might as well do it now. Cast real doctors.
I mean, you might be able to sell the movie to some people on the fact that, hey, you get to see Adam Sandler's colon.
But yeah, that was an interesting way to start it off.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, and then I was a big fan.
Don't know though how I felt about the actual title card. The like CG letters that come together and there's like a ring around them.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if I needed that. How about you just use a night? They use the John Carpenter font. It's like just use the John Carpenter font, guys. You're already ripping the font. Fucking just.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I'm trying to remember.
At least I'm pretty sure it was. And if it wasn't, it was very similar to like the the one that John Carpenter uses for all of his movies.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't really remember it, honestly. I usually remember that stuff. Yeah, I just remember like the title sequence being really weird.
It's definitely weird
and unexpected.
It's long too because it continues for a long time. Because I think it's just his title card, and then after it comes out, the actual titles like start, like on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
It's like
I remember
track on the record. It's like 9, 8.
And I remember the credits. Like, there's so much that happens, like with the credits.
Oh yeah, because it like zooms into his head and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like he's like even at that after the colonoscopy, he's like running around doing stuff, and the credits are still rolling.
The opening credits.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. I don't know. Overall, I really dug it, and I like where the Safdie brothers are going, man.
Yeah, I'm glad it did really so good.
I mean, it's the first movie I've seen from them, and now I'm kind of curious to see what else they've done.
You should check out Good Time, dude.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's pretty good. It's Robert Pattinson is pretty fucking good in it.
Water for elephants?
Oh, let's talk about the one scene where I was shocked that he did this. The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Like, for one, him doing coke and then kind of being like a douchebag and like hitting on
totally.
that girl. Like I'm shocked that he like did that, and they like that was interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, and I like the level of like the realism that they put into their movies. It's like weirdly accurate, like this guy coming up at the time, and then this like accuracy about the NBA game, and like it's interesting. Because, like, why would The Weeknd play himself in a movie where he's in the movie for, like, 5 minutes, maybe? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's, like, it's also a show that some rich guy would go to that would be, like, a weird, cool... You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense, so it's interesting to play it off like a real thing like that, you know?
Yeah. Another thing that we didn't talk about is, like, just in general, like, the look of this movie.
It looks so good.
It looks so good. Like the Safdie brothers, they really like to use like those fluorescent lights, which typically I don't like in general. But like
just a nice like gross look like that.
Yeah, they get green. Good city look.
All their movies make you feel gross. You know, like especially Good Time made me feel like really gross after. But this one was like had that same dirty, just like kind of city New York gross vibe with the fluorescent lighting. But I liked how it was like shot on film too, so it has like a graininess too, and it's just sort of just like a dirty fucking movie.
It's Darius Kanji, right? Didn't he shoot it? Pretty sure.
What's that?
Isn't it? Didn't Darius Kanji shoot it?
I'm not sure.
Gotta check.
It definitely feels like a movie that could have come out like back then too. Like,
yeah.
It's not really... There's nothing in it that screams, oh, this movie definitely came out in 2019.
Yeah, it's got an interesting, like, makeup. Because it's definitely has, like, sort of retro... It's feel like they, like, capture the sort of... It was a movement in the 70s, I feel like kind of, like, street life, city, fast-paced, all on location. I feel like they're kind of harnessing that in an interesting way. I feel like the 70s New York movies like a thing, like early 80s, you know?
Totally. Yeah. Because the city was especially dirty then, too.
Yeah.
You know, New York was a very dirty place during that time.
Back in the 70s or 2012?
The 70s. I'm just saying I feel like they kind of harnessed that vibe from the movies then.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Look at the Warriors and, like, Rumble in the Bronx and all that stuff.
Totally.
And then if you ever watch the Get Down, that's a really good representation of New York back then.
Okay, looking through the full cast, Tilda Swinton is in this movie?
Yeah, apparently she did a voice of the announcer or something.
Oh no,
I saw that on there too.
She's the jewel lady who actually like runs the auction, right?
No, it says that she's Anne, Adley's auction manager, just her voice.
Yeah, so she was the one he was talking to on the phone, because she never shows her face.
Who he kept like calling, being like, "Let me talk to him."
Yeah, right. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh man,
I didn't realize that till after I was like looking on IMDb.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do. This is like the best A24 opening ever. Apparently, it made
man. 18. I forgot it was them. I forgot it was them too. Yeah, man.
Made like almost $19 million in like 5 days or something.
Oh wow, because this movie probably outside of paying the actors was not shot for that much.
Yeah, totally. It's not.
I agree. Yeah.
High budget affair. So that's great. I just want they're good guys to just like keep doing shit. You know what I mean? It's cool that this movie was as big as it was. I feel like I really liked Good Time a lot, and I feel like I heard about people liking it a lot, but it wasn't like it wasn't like as accessible when it came out. And I saw some of their older movies, like, and it was just like, oh, those are cool. Like with like the Daddy Longlegs one, I remember was on Netflix like years and years ago, and I just watched it, and then like saw Lenny Cook, and I was like, oh, I've seen this other movie, and then saw, like Good Time, and I was like, oh, okay, I heard of Heaven Knows What, So it's interesting the trajectory they've been on, and I'm hoping they just keep getting to make shit.
Yeah, like this year, the A24 has gotten some stuff like wide release. Like Midsummer was A24, right?
Yeah, that had a pretty big release.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of big releases. The Farewell was also A24.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a big one for them for sure.
I don't know why I associate A24 with just really stressful movies.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see you. I see you.
I think they also produced Mandy, and
I don't know if they did. Maybe. Is that an A24 film? I'm not sure. But supposedly, I'm reading this a little bit of trivia. Supposedly, after the success of Good Time, Hollywood executives were contacting them for offers, including a big budget superhero movie, which they declined and instead secured financing for Uncut Gems.
Yeah,
it's like good for you guys. Good for you guys.
Yeah, I know. I'd watched after Good Time came out, Criterion had like a hour-long doc on them. And I watched that, and apparently this was like this was like their dream movie for years and years. And I think they've made like 5 movies or something, and every one they've like been trying to do this one next. So it's also interesting seeing that, seeing something that's like, is that substantial to the people who made it. It's like they've been thinking about this movie for fucking ever. Like this was the one. Yeah. So that's always pretty cool, and it's like seems like they made it.
Totally. That's great.
Pretty darn well.
All right. Well, what do you guys rate it? Stars out of 5 stars. Zach.
I'm going 5 banger on this one.
Okay. Charlie.
Oh, am I back? There we go. Let's see. I'd say like 4.5. I think there's some room for improvement. Don't want to rate it too high, but definitely really good movie. It's not for everybody though.
Yeah, totally. I think I go I think I go 4.5 as well.
Fair enough.
Fucking love this movie, but you know what, fuck it, I'm going 5.
All the way to the top?
Honestly, I'm going all the way to the top. This movie's great.
You're saying
I got nothing bad to say about it.
You're saying it's better than Ad Astra?
That's a tough one. I loved Ad Astra.
That's a tough one.
I also gave Ad Astra 5, so it's a gray area.
Yeah, same. I don't know. I think they're just different. They're different movies.
We'll see. We'll see come top 10 time.
Top 10 episode, you'll see where that one lands.
I'm guessing you guys got a few more movies to watch before then.
Yeah,
not many.
I'm gonna try to slam some in for sure, but I don't feel the pressure as much this year as previous years to like really just like, hammer a ton in.
Thing is, I feel like I watched a lot of movies this year.
Yeah,
and I feel like I've been able to keep up this year particularly.
Like a lot more than the past few.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think I definitely want to add 1924 to my watch list before I finalize it. Or not 1924, 1917.
1917?
Yeah.
Oh,
Me too. I plan to catch that before.
It's very good.
Sealing the deal. Yeah, Zach caught it already. He loved it.
Yeah, I was going to try and see it, but then I realized it was like only limited release when I was free around Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming full release next weekend.
Next weekend? I wonder if they're doing any like film shots of that, or is it all just IMAX?
I think part of it's film, like shot on film.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, honestly. A little tangent there, but
no,
that's all right.
Yeah, I definitely saw it digitally. It was a free screening, so it was like I was at the mercy of whatever was there. But it was also in the Dolby like Atmos theater, which was pretty crazy.
That's what I want to see it in, but I don't think it's playing in that, unfortunately, here.
Star Wars is just playing.
One thing about our theater, we had Star Wars, the IMAX screen right next to our theater for Uncut Gems. And there were a couple times the bass bled through into our movie.
Like, wow, 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 wow.
Oh, yeah, we felt our seats vibrate several times. But all right, well, cool. We all really like this movie, so hopefully you're not listening to this spoiler review if you haven't seen it. But if you are, go see it.
It's a banger.
Yeah. And with that, we're gonna move into our other review.
But before we do, Wes, let's discuss a special deal from our sponsor. Just one more time, last time.
Okay.
For the listeners that listen to us rant about movies podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. So to download your free audiobook, go to audibletrial.com/LTURAM. That's audibletrial.com/LTURAM.
All right. Well, we're going to move into non-spoilers for Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, starting right now.
It's an instinct. A feeling. The Force brought us together. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does.
But I do.
Long have I waited. And now you're coming together. Is your undoing.
So that was from the trailer of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. After Palpatine mysteriously returns, the Resistance faces the First Order once more in the final chapter of the Skywalker saga. We're going to talk non-spoilers for this, but before we get into our opinions of the movie, I just kind of want to let's just talk about what this movie had to do, right? I think there is a lot of heavy lifting this movie had to do, which was it had to be the ending of this trilogy. It had to be the ending of the Skywalker saga and wrap up 9 episodes. And I think it had kind of a bad hand to start with Carrie Fisher. Yeah. And I'm going to go into my opinion of that later. But I don't know. I feel like this movie had a lot to do. And with that being said, Charlie, what did you think of the movie?
Yeah, 100% with you. I agree that it had a lot to do just based off of Last Jedi didn't really leave anywhere for it to go, and there wasn't this trilogy definitely lost the plot along the way. It looks like it never really had an overarching plot or any real game plan for what the whole trilogy is. Whatever, I don't care what they say on the back end with Kathleen Kennedy and JJ and all of them saying no, there was a plan. It definitely doesn't seem like there was a plan for the trilogy. And
it's a fact. There wasn't.
Yeah.
Because sorry to cut you off, but real quickly, J.J. Abrams wrote the first movie, then Rian Johnson wrote the second one, and then J.J. picked up the pieces from there. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely had a lot to do. Carrie Fisher, that whole thing definitely didn't help at all. But as far as this movie, it didn't hurt it 100%. It actually, I think it gave more room for the characters to breathe, the new characters. But yeah, if we're just handling that kind of opinion for now, I definitely agree with you where it had a lot to do.
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yes. It's 100% fan service. I think this was the Fast 5 or Fast 6 of the Star Wars movie, whichever one where Fast and the Furious got real stupid and just decided to throw what you wanted out of these movies at you, which is just goofy action. This is the Star Wars movie that does that, where it's oh, you just want goofy space adventure, and it's almost episodic within the movie of here's adventure A, here's adventure B, and we're just gonna do this. Who cares how it's connected? But I definitely had fun watching it, and I mean, over the years I'll probably do what I do with every Star Wars and go back and question every little thing that the movie did. But
yeah,
just after that initial viewing, I had fun with it. I mean, I saw it at 1 a.m. release in an IMAX, and I bought the ticket Thursday before I went. So it's there's definitely a lot of people like me who were just a little burned out, and I kind of just went out and said, you know what, fuck it. I want to see it before any of the spoiler reviews come out so I can actually go out and enjoy those.
Right.
But I had fun with it as a Star Wars fan. I think a lot of people who probably had problems with Last Jedi will really like the movie.
Yeah. That reminds me, before we pass it on to Zach, I guess I should have asked this earlier, but before we go into each of our thoughts of the movie, Charlie, what do you think of the previous two movies, and how do you think that this one kind of does it help the others? Does it make the other ones better, or has it improved, or what do you think compared to the other two?
Compared to the other two, I think the other two are slightly more competent films. I don't think, outside of just wrapping everything up and just being kind of a fun adventure, this doesn't really add much to them. It doesn't remove anything it removes a lot from The Last Jedi. This movie definitely takes the piss out of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
A lot, which, I mean, I don't have issue with, but I mean, I have issues with The Last Jedi outside of character and plot choices, and I enjoyed The Force Awakens for what it was. But if we want to talk the older movies, there's definitely, I rewatched The Force Awakens recently too, as part of it. The first 30 minutes of The Force Awakens are so much fun and basically their own thing. It's Rey doing her stuff on Jakku, and she's kind of just living her life, and that's interesting, and it takes its time. And then it's Finn making his decision to not like shoot up a village and then deciding, hey, there's this rebel pilot they captured. I'm gonna break him out. And that whole interaction with Poe and Finn in the first movie is great. And the Rise of Skywalker definitely gives us more of that, which like the first movie did it for about 5 minutes and then stops it. And then that doesn't happen at all in The Last Jedi, that like Poe Finn kind of bro dynamic. And like and I don't think Rey ever really meets Poe until this movie.
I don't think she does at the very end of Last Jedi when she says they introduce each other.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, hey, you're Poe. And it's like even at the beginning of this movie, Rey was off doing Jedi training while Poe and Finn were having their little adventure to start off the movie. But yeah, it's it definitely, I don't think it adds or detracts from anything, and it definitely doesn't pay The Last Jedi any credit.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, pass it on to Zach. So starting off with that, Zach, how do you think this helps the other movies? Do you think it? What do you think it compares? And how do you feel about those? And then finally, what's your opinion of this movie?
I feel like it does a lot of favors to the first movie. Pretty much like pretends like the second one doesn't exist, and is a great sequel to the first one. But you can tell that they like got him back, JJ back, because it was safe, and like there was so much Last Jedi backlash that they're like, we can't fuck this up again, you know. But I never really think it was a fuck up. Like I enjoyed The Last Jedi, and I rewatched Force Awakens and Last Jedi before seeing this, and I think I like Last Jedi more, and Force Awakens maybe the same or slightly less. Like I feel like Last Jedi aged a little better. I definitely think there's like structural problems with it, but I think it like went for more, and I think thematically I like what it's saying more. So then to turn around on like the theme that was kind of like brought up in that, and I thought was like really positive, just kind of felt like, okay, like yeah, I get that this one, and I mean I agree, I guess that it's pretty like fan servicey. The new one I had a lot of fun watching it. And I was like, that was fun. And I was trying to just enjoy it. And then I think the more I think about it, the less I like it. But had fun watching it. But it's also like designed to be fun. You know what I mean? Which, is that a bad thing? I don't know. But it just felt really fast. Like there was like too much going on. And nothing had time to breathe. And I think there's a better movie in the edit somewhere. But I also think that about Last Jedi and probably Force Awakens, that there's better versions that you could make just like with the footage that exists already. You know what I mean?
Not hating on Last Jedi, but like you saying there's a better movie in the edit of Rise of Skywalker. I feel like the better movie is in the edit of splitting Rise of Skywalker into 2 movies and like giving an overarching story to breathe in between them, because Rise of Skywalker never stops. It just kind of keeps going.
Yeah, it's a little too much, I would say, because they're trying, and I feel like that's the thing that Last Jedi was trying to do with the constant chase, was to have this like breakneck pace, but it's like broken up, so it doesn't work. But then this one is so broken up, but it's also that pace, so it's just like so fast. Like scenes that last 30 seconds, it like wipes. And then they're like, hey, what should we do? It's like, we got to go there. It's like, all right, let's go. Wipe. You know what I mean? Like
there's like a
especially the first
where they're like, oh, we need to go here. And some like side characters go, oh, we can't go there yet. And then Rey's just like, no, fuck it. I'm going there. And it's like, I thought we were going to have a break for like 5 minutes in the middle of the movie. But no, the characters just kind of force it along.
I think that the first like act of the movie was relentless.
Yeah, and it's too much. There's no time to settle into it.
It's very, and the whole movie there really it does eventually I think settle into a better pacing, albeit a very fast paced one that you don't really feel ever gives you the moments of like pause, like
reflection,
like especially Force Awakens and reflection, and Last Jedi kind of gives you some reflection. There's no pausing, there's no moment to kind of really enjoy. It is literally just scene to scene to scene to scene.
It makes it feel less substantial.
We got to do this thing. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like just.
But getting into my opinion of the movie, I really like Force Awakens. I always liked that movie, and I understand where people come from, where they say it's a lot like A New Hope, which it is. But
yeah.
I think what it had to do was try and bring you back into that nostalgia and try and set up a new universe, and maybe it relied too much on that formula.
I think it's
whatever.
It's
but
definitely perfect for what he aimed to do.
I think it sets up a lot of interesting stuff. There's really great character moments, and I thought the movie's great. Last Jedi, I really like that movie, and I do agree with both of you. I think that in some respects that there is some structural issues. There's a lot of flaws with the movie, but I like the movie a lot. It's probably my favorite out of the three, because it tries to do so much more, and it says, well, we don't have to rely on like these Skywalkers. We can try and do something more with this, and it tries to expand the formula, which is what people wanted, because Force Awakens, everyone's like, this is too much like New Hope. So Last Jedi comes in and tries to do something new. Oh, it's too different.
It's like
and
not
so
Star Wars.
It's
like, well, it is. It's just like not exactly like how it was. Like,
right.
I think
gone over. It was surprising.
Yeah, I think I've gone over with you like a lot of my feelings on The Last Jedi just after work at the bar and stuff. But like a lot of my issues don't like stem from the choices of the movie. It's more, I think, watching it, I had a gut feeling at the end where it's like, well, where the fuck do we go from here? Like, Rian Johnson spent the whole movie deconstructing basically everything that was built up. And it's kind of like, well, we didn't build up to the next portion of a trilogy. And in the choices he made, he kind of contradicted some of the themes he had within the movie.
Well, I don't want to talk too much about Last Jedi, but I will say that I think that J.J. Abrams had a lot of pieces on the floor that Rian Johnson had to pick up and do something with them.
Yeah.
You know, he had a lot of work too, and this all is everyone's fault. You know, it's like there wasn't a plan. There was no plan. So like everyone's kind of like trying to compensate for the other, and then leaving like a pile of stuff to pick up at the end of the movie for everyone.
Oh, because it's JJ has this fucking mystery box thing where
he's obsessed with the mystery box, and he's like whatever.
And they do that in Rise of Skywalker too, but we can talk about that in spoilers.
We'll get to it later, but there's moments in this where it's like, and here it is, and flip, nope, there it is, and then flip. There's like 3 flips in one, and you're like, I don't know what to think. Anyway. But like getting to my opinion of Rise of Skywalker is, overall, I had a lot of fun. Like I really had a lot of fun watching this movie. It was very satisfying, very fan servicey, and on one hand, it's like it's so complicated because like I'm satisfied. I feel like I have a conclusion. Okay, that's great, and I have answers. But in a way, is it possible to also be like disappointed? Because I feel like it just, in the end, it's sort of like, that's what, it's like, yeah, of course, you know? It's like, there's nothing to be gained out of that. Like, there's nothing new or nothing pushed further. It's just a sort of like limp, sort of wet noodle that's sort of like, okay, you know?
No, it's...
Yeah, there it is. It's like, okay.
Kind of sums up the burnout that a lot of people felt, where it was just kind of like, let's get this done with.
Yeah,
and it sucks because, and I actually saw this movie twice, and the second time I'll say that I really liked it more the second time, but it's still sort of the same result, where like, I really enjoyed it, I had a lot of fun with it, but it didn't do anything new, and it was almost too reliant on the nostalgia. You know, it's like, does it really earn that? You know, does it earn that love? It's not its own thing. It's just like a fucking shadow of like the originals, you know? And for that, it's like, that's disappointing for a legacy.
Well, it's like,
for like the end of this whole saga. it's just like this corporate sort of re-puking, rejumbled fucking formula shit. And I just found that really disappointing in a way.
And I think you could see like the burnout on some of the actors' faces in this movie, where it's kind of like they're so vibrant when you watch The Force Awakens, but in this movie they kind of just seem, I don't know if it's like the characters they're given, but like Oscar Isaacs, Daisy Ridley, and John Boyega all kind of, then they've said it in interviews, they all just seemed done with it during this movie. Adam Driver is like the only redeeming quality, him and Kylo Ren, who's like the actual character that has an arc through the 3 movies.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, and I have complicated feelings about him too, but
yeah,
we'll get into that as well. Yeah, it's hard to talk about this movie without giving anything away.
Yeah,
so I think we should just
spoiler.
Pretty much go right into spoilers, but yeah, overall, I liked the movie. I enjoyed it, and I'll definitely buy it and watch it again and again. But it just sort of, as like a legacy, as the end to this whole saga.
It's disappointing.
I know it had a lot of heavy lifting to do, but I feel like it sort of just went for the easiest result. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Didn't take any risks. Like
no
none.
risks. And that's a total marketing standpoint, because Last Jedi had so much backlash from stupid Star Wars fans. No offense, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't really have that much, like, my backlash to Last Jedi was different than, like, plot decisions. I was fine with Luke being a crazy old codger, but I also did feel bad for, the actress who plays, Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I don't know if it's spoilers, but Rise of Skywalker does not give that character any time. I think it was like 2 minutes of screen time.
It's pretty
total.
Bad.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
to set up a character like that and just have it be like, yeah, she's just gonna like stay back and just like be around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's leave it at that, and let's move into spoilers starting right now.
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny. The Force will be with you. Always.
Talking about Rose, like, that's another thing that was just like a huge step back of ignoring Last Jedi, right?
She just gets left behind on the base where she's like, oh, I'll go out and help, and Finn's like, oh, no, you stay here.
It's just sort of odd as a linear storyline, it's just like, or especially for films.
Yeah.
You build up this character. There's the kiss moment, which I wasn't a big fan of, like the Finn Rose kiss, but still it's sort of like that was something.
I mean, at that,
so it's like
kiss made more sense than the kiss in this movie.
I think a lot of people agree with you.
Yeah.
But
that was whatever.
I liked the Kylo kiss.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
I mean, are we just gonna get into it, or are we gonna beat around?
No, let's go.
Let's finish.
Let's go back to what we were saying. Yeah. How. Yeah, it's just like it kind of ignores Last Jedi, and rewatching them, because I rewatched all of them, like I said. Mm-hmm. I like Last Jedi a lot more because of this movie. I guess I should say not because of this movie, but I sort of respect Last Jedi more after seeing this, because it does try to do so much more. And it's also the cinematography is fantastic in that.
Really I mean, that movie looks great.
Looks so good. And there's just some, like, the moments, like, I thought it was so interesting to have, like, the setup of, what if she was no one? You know, like, what if?
I also think
why does she have to be tied to
a
someone?
more positive message to, like, put in a kids movie, too. To then, like,
yeah,
take it back.
Anyone can have the Force.
Yeah.
You know, the broom kid at the end.
Yeah.
Anyone can have the Force.
And then they're like, actually, no, because you're, like, granddaughter of the villain. Like, okay.
Yeah, actually, no, you have to have either Palpatine blood or Skywalker blood.
Well, is Skywalker blood technically Palpatine blood? Because I thought Anakin was a virgin birth from a lot of the side things, and Palpatine used Force powers to make him.
So that's apparently a non-canonical explanation from a comic, and I've heard a lot about this. But supposedly, Zach, I don't know if you heard, but some say that Palpatine like used the Force to insert like life into Anakin's mother. Shmi, to create Anakin, and so some people think that he created Anakin. Apparently, that's not canon.
Oh, okay.
But that was like something from like a comic book theory. Apparently it was like from a dream, so it wasn't even like reality.
Yeah.
And people are taking that out of context.
But in this movie, real quick, who did Palpatine fuck? It's like that.
Yeah, right. Fucks. I mean, he was the Emperor, so he probably had some bottom bitches.
So first thing my sister said to me, we left the movie, and my sister was like, "Who do you fuck?" Like, to make that...
Because given Rey's age, it would have been when he was like Scary Monster Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like they show the parents too, which is it's just sort of odd. It's just like, okay,
yeah, it's kind of weird.
Like I guess they're just like regular people. All right, It's just strange. And then it's like if he did use the Force to insert his seed into her or something. Let's say. Theory, he like planted his seed into this woman, into this regular person.
Yeah.
And then, but why, if he goes through all that work, why would he allow them to like have the baby for so long and like raise it?
Yeah.
What?
I really don't understand any of the Palpatine stuff. Like, okay, cool, tie him in, but like none of it makes any sense.
I mean, this movie, I think part of the pacing of this movie is to make you not question that. Because, I mean, the second you question it, it's kind of like, what the fuck? But, I've watched, like, a lot of the Clone Wars series and that type of stuff, and they bring Darth Maul back in those. And he's like a weird schizophrenic with spider legs on a junk planet for a while, and then they end up doing a lot of really cool stuff with him, which culminates in, like, probably one of my favorite lightsaber fights in Star Wars Rebels between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, but... so Star Wars has a canonical history of doing this type of thing where they just bring them back, but there's no rhyme or reason to how Palpatine fell down a shaft of blue energy into a Death Star that blew up into a million pieces.
Yeah, it's
survived.
But also, past him surviving, like, what is his plan? It's like, all right, so my plan is, like, I'm going to be you, Rey, and I'm going to, like, be in you because we're, like, transferring the Force and all my power into you, and you're, like, my new body, kind of. But also, Kylo, you should kill my new body because fuck my new body. And also, I made you as a baby, but I gave you away, and I could have just risen you. Like, I don't, like, understand any of... Because, like, Kylo doesn't do it, and then he's like, the plan the whole time was not that. It's like, wait, so, like, what were you doing with him? And then he's like, actually, I'll just take both of you. And it's like, but wait, why would you do that? And I don't know. It just like, it seemed like the plan changed like 4 times. And I was like, I don't get what this is. But like, I saw it in 3D and the lightning looked cool. I was like, oh,
hey,
cool.
at least it looked really cool. And Ian McDiarmid got a paycheck for doing Palpatine. That dude is fucking great.
Yeah, I'm happy they brought him back. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but I did like the opening scene personally, like the very opening scene where Kylo shows up. And,
Yeah, no, that whole atmosphere on that planet is super cool. I don't get what's up with the death cult, but
yeah, what were all the people? This is very weird.
It's so like doesn't really explain like who are these people?
Are they supposed to be all the Sith?
How is he able to rise ships like zombie ships, but then there's like regular people out of nowhere that are running these things? Like who built these?
Yeah, who built all those people? Well, I don't think he built them. I think he says he conjured them in the movie.
I want to cut into one of the ships and just see a crew member who was conjured. They're like, I don't know anything. I'm a weird baby that got conjured. like I don't like a lot of the stuff with him. I just don't get. I'm just like, I don't know how this is working. Who are all these people in this like arena? He just is this robot. I liked that he was
like
on the
a fucking Super Bowl stadium of Sith worshippers, like, and they're all chanting when Kylo and Rey are fighting him.
And they're just like robes too. That you don't actually see any faces.
Oh, really?
And when the whole thing collapses, that's what I'm kind of thinking. It might be like an illusion, maybe.
It might be like I thought it was like the personification of all the Sith that came before.
Yeah, but that seems like way too many. Because you think about the voices that are in Rey's head, and it's like there's like 10 or 15.
I mean, yeah, they cut back. I think, it's like Ewan McGregor, Mark Hamill, like all the different Jedi.
Cool. Oh yeah.
I think even Ahsoka Tano, that voice actress, got like a bit part in there from the Clone Wars.
Yoda's in it and all.
Yeah, Yoda definitely.
I don't get it's like, okay, these are all the Siths that have ever existed, but like I guess I just didn't buy that. How about you just don't have crowds of people in the background? Like, who needs it? It's them 3. Who cares? In the old ones,
they like turned it into like a ritual.
Yeah, it was them 3. Yeah. Cool. That's enough. I don't need
suffers from the
crowd of
where...
5,000 people. Like, you know.
Yeah, it suffers from that thing where Star Wars needs like the big ending, big finale, and it kind of leads to like I kind of like Solo because it was small, and a lot of people I haven't watched Mandalorian yet, but a lot of people like Mandalorian because it's small. It's just a tiny adventure.
It is.
It's not a big fucking satanic stadium to like Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
I will say that the idea though that he presents to Rey in that moment is like really interesting because it's like an impossible choice that she has to make. Like you either strike me down and then I become part of you, I am you now, and you save your friends, or you don't strike me down and all your friends die. It's like, fuck, I thought that was like a really good Sith. yeah. That was a really Sith-like question, because there was no way she could really win in that scenario.
Totally.
But going back just a little bit, I want to say that they did set up, as you were saying a little bit, Charlie, is like they kind of did set up like the canonical people coming back from the dead and stuff, and they do call back to episode 3 when he goes, many people say that there are, dark side powers that are even unnatural, bringing people back from the dead, and Palpatine's master, who he killed, was someone who mastered death.
Plagueis.
And he learned everything from Darth Plagueis. He learned everything from him. So it's like, so it could be understood, and it's written absolutely like he learned how to come back from the dead.
Oh yeah. So
and if Jedi are able to become Force ghosts, there's probably a way that as this powerful dark side user, he could probably join the Force in some way and re-inhabit like a body.
There's also that part at the end of episode 3 though, where he's kind of just like Darth Vader's like, what happened to Padme? With like the famous no scene, where he's just like, she passed away, and it's like
you killed her, and you killed her.
Yeah, and it's like he was clearly just fucking with him at that point, but it also kind of leads to, I think there's a point where it's kind of like alluded to in episode 3 after he chokes out Padme on Mustafar, that Obi-Wan kind of goes over her, and it looks like he kind of reses her with the Force at some point in that movie. So I think it's definitely been alluded to earlier, and they do kind of set it up early in this movie where Rey heals that worm, and Kylo on like the ruins of the Death Star.
Yeah. Have you seen The Mandalorian, Zach?
Yeah, I haven't seen the last one, but I've seen all the other ones.
Oh, last one's good. Yeah. Side tangent. It does kind of delve into that a little bit in The Mandalorian.
Baby Yoda?
I don't want to give too much away for you.
Oh, okay.
No, healing.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not against it. I've watched so much goofy Star Wars bullshit and read like a bunch of books too, so I'm game for whatever the Force can do.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say one quick last note on the Palpatine thing is I don't have a problem with him coming back because it's like, sure, Force. Like, do it. It's fine. It's this invisible thing. I more just didn't understand his motivations once he was back. Like, there was no clear, like, trajectory for his, like, villainous plan. It was just kind of like, whatever evil will outsmart you is the one that I'll do. You know what I mean? It didn't really feel, like, purposeful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like he was just kind of there, but that seems like something that, you know, if the trilogy was planned out, that would have been set up. Like, I think Snoke would have died, and then at the end of episode 2 of this trilogy, I guess 8, Last Jedi, Snoke would have died, and you would have had like a Marvel-style stinger at the end with whatever Palpatine's message was in the title crawl, where, I mean, we could get into the title crawl if we want, where I think it's probably one of the worst Star Wars title crawls ever, but like that feels like something.
I agree. I thought it was terribly written.
Oh, it was like, and it was like 2 sentences.
It was pretty short.
It was literally like.
But it throws so much at you. It's like, by the way, Palpatine's back. There's a lot you gotta know.
It's like 3 or 4 years. It was like years later too. It's like years later, Palpatine's message goes through deep space. Here's our team doing something, and then it just cuts to like the little adventure at the beginning,
which was so rushed. It was like all these cool shots of this like smoked out forest and him like lightsaber fighting in slow motion.
Oh yeah, the
and then
Kylo
there's just, like,
thing.
3 shots of him killing people, and then it's like, all right, like now the movie's starting. It's like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like that looked cool.
It's like Kylo's going on a rampage. That was in the title crawl, and you're like, what? Cool.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
And then you see him on your smoky planet, and then it cuts to like some yellow anus monster in the Millennium Falcon with Poe, Finn, and I think it was Nub Nub.
I was kind of in on that though. It was kind of good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't explain that at all, that guy.
I see, like, that's the guy, that's the new character I want. Not these, like, weird people who, like, ride the cool horses. I want the fucking anus face spider guy to be the new character in this movie.
The best new character is fucking Babu Frick.
Yeah, loved that character.
For sure.
It was so good. It's
He's
like,
so awesome.
This is what I want. This tiny little... And that was also voice acted by, like, someone good that I was like, what? Is a woman, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But,
that's cool. Great moments with that, right, guys? Woohoo!
Yeah, that was fun.
At the end.
It's like, all right, this cool little guy, I'm in on this.
All right, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, so much.
One thing I wanted to... One of the things I wanted to talk about too was like you mentioned the Force stuff. I'm all for like new Force powers. Like show me new Force shit. You know, there was the healing, and then I thought like the fight, which we can get more into as well, is like the fight where the lightsaber fight where they're fighting like with the water and stuff. They use like the Force powers to like hold the sabers and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like that.
I really liked the what they did with Rey and Kylo in this movie. I guess their telekinetic bond, like that scene where she's on the ship
from Last Jedi.
Yeah, where she's on the ship and he's on the whatever planet Babu Frick was on, and they're somehow fighting in 2 different spots, and then he gets like the clue that she's on the ship. I thought that scene was one of my really good.
That was one of my favorite scenes because they were kind of rotating in a circle. And like as one crossed over through the camera, it cut to the other location.
Yeah, I'm curious
and I thought that was
they
super
did that.
cool.
Like, was that just like green screen and comping, or did they actually build a set that was like half this bright
I think they
spaceship?
did real sets. I think that's just really good editing.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because it's just sort of they shot both, and then they would rotate, and then it would cover the screen, and then it would cut to the other scene, and
that's probably
show the other location.
Yeah, that's probably the coolest scene in the movie.
It was really cool.
I wasn't crazy about it, honestly.
Nah.
I think I liked the way that they handled that stuff in Last Jedi visually better.
It was a bit more subtle in there. Like, they kind of just...
I liked how simple it was, because it was a simple effect that was super effective about... You just shoot the scene like they're in the same room, but they're in two different rooms. And I thought...
It starts off like that, but I guess they tried to advance it a little bit.
Yeah, it just felt like the, JJ version of that idea that was just, very effects heavy. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like...
I agree, but let me just say that I think the only real defense of that movie, or of that particular technique, is it's really needed for that final scene when Kylo has they're able to transfer items.
Yeah. And I don't mind that conceptually. I just thought I don't know. I didn't hate it, but it was the thing where I feel like I can't feel like Last Jedi keeps coming up, but just stylistically that movie had more of a visual look that was thought out visually, whereas this felt more just I don't know. I guess I didn't feel the effect of that more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
This movie definitely added a lot more to that power I guess they had, and you kind of question it in this movie more because apparently in that movie Snoke says he started it, he made their bond,
right?
And in this one it's kind of well, one, why do they still have it, and two, why does it seem to affect actual material a lot more than Kylo just getting some water on his hand and the Jedi prayer beads or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's kind of the natural progression of that is the water was able to transfer. So eventually, as years went on, I guess that bond increased, and now they're able to transfer full items and shit.
I thought that
doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever it is.
The Force doesn't make sense. Who cares?
Oh,
you know
what
I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Space wizards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we real quick, something I wanted to bring up in the Palpatine discussion, but just really liked that they kind of played Snoke off like he was shitty, and then there was just a jug of Snokes in this movie.
That was definitely a shot at I don't know if that was a shot at Last Jedi or if that was
because J.J. Abrams set up Snoke, and he was way worse in that one. I feel like I did not like the big hologram guy. It was just all right, what is this?
Oh,
this
no.
is dumb.
It was a waste of. It was Andy Serkis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fucking almost a waste of Andy Serkis in a Star Wars movie.
His character.
I thought he was good he's good in Last Jedi.
Yeah, so, he's just an empty villain. I feel like they're just he's a villain because he looks scary. And he just has a fucked up head. And it's just I'm just the villain.
But now they sort of just turned that into there's just a bunch of Snokes he's been raising a tube.
Yeah, there's just a big bin of them, a jug. It was okay, that's kind of cool. But it's also just I feel like it could have played on that in a weird meta way farther, and they don't, obviously, because why would Disney do that? But I liked that at least. If they were gonna pull back on something and retcon or switch something up, I enjoyed that part where it's he's just a scary dude that I have a bunch of over there, but I'm the dude, you know.
I mean, I think that explains him pretty well. I was pretty happy with that, and it's kind of oh, okay, so he was expendable. He was kind of like Darth Maul was, and there's it's almost poetry between Darth Maul and Snoke. They both get chopped in half.
Yeah.
That's my George Lucas quote for the review, but it's poetry. It rhymes.
George Lucas loves symmetry with the Star Wars movies.
But yeah, between that and then if we want to get into villains and stuff, I thought General Pride was super fucking good as just evil Empire general, and then I kind of liked what they did with Hux. If we want to get into spoilers, where General
Yeah. I mean, we're in spoilers.
It was just too fast. I feel like most things, I guess I didn't mind it.
Everything was super fast.
It just came, and you're like, oh, this is like a whole storyline now. And then he's like, no, it's the end of my storyline. And then it just like cut away.
I thought Richard E. Grant was like just a great Imperial officer.
To the point where I was like, why did they cast Domhnall Gleeson? Just have Richard E. Grant in all 3 movies.
Oh,
and
he would have been fucking great.
Tarkin. You know what I mean?
He was the Tarkin to the Ren.
They had to do something. They had to introduce another officer because Last Jedi made Donald Gleeson, like General Hux, made him like goofy. He's like really goofy in that movie.
Well, because there's fucking nothing to do with that guy. It's just like, what is your character?
So it's like there's nothing really is to do with him, and then they made him goofy. So they're like, what do they do with this goofy guy now? Because we need some kind of other like villain against Kylo. So they introduce a new character.
Yeah.
And there you go.
I did enjoy what they did with Hux, but like hearing you guys, it definitely reminds me how this movie felt kind of episodic to me, where it felt like a whole season of a show crammed into one, where like if I was watching Star Wars Rebels or Star Wars Clone Wars, like a whole episode would be dedicated to finding out like, oh, we're on this ship, and then we meet Hux and find out he's actually the spy for the Resistance and why he's doing it. Or I thought it was really interesting where he's like, I just want Kylo Ren to fail. And it's like, oh, that makes sense, because Kylo's just been shitting on you for the last 20 years or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
But I thought the villains were handled pretty well in this movie. I mean, as well as they could.
Yeah, I think for the most part. I was a little disappointed in the Knights of Ren.
Yeah, there's nothing to do.
We never really got an explanation for that. They got defeated like really easily.
And you think,
so it's like, okay.
So at the end of the movie, it's like, so the Knights of Ren are working with Kylo when they do that whole thing with Chewbacca we're probably gonna fucking talk about. But then brutal. they come up to the end of the movie, and it's like, are they that infatuated with the Sith and the Emperor? Like, I thought they'd be more on Kylo's side, and the fact that like part of the big fight at the end is Kylo fighting the Knights of Ren is like,
yeah,
aren't they bros? Like, I thought they were all the bros that ditched Luke's academy after Luke tried to kill Kylo.
But we don't know though.
We don't know that.
The thing is, it's like, why do I care about these guys? Because they're literally just guys with cool helmets, and they do nothing in these movies. And when they introduce them in Force Awakens, they look fucking cool. And it's like, who are these guys? This is cool.
They look super
rad. And then Last
rad.
Jedi doesn't touch them, and it's just like, okay, who are these guys?
And they have a lot of really cool boy band shots in this movie.
Yeah, they're just guys who walk around in cool helmets. That's who they are. Like, they do nothing. And the worst part is, they're not even making action figures of them. They make them action figures of one. I looked it up. I was like,
really?
Is this just an action figure thing? And there's only one of them. It's just like, why
God.
you even got these fucking 4 guys? Like, what's going on here?
I was honestly just more confused that they're named after Kylo Ren and they don't side with him at the end. Like, what the fuck's that?
Yeah, honestly, there should have been more of an explanation with them and like what happened with the Academy, right? Because like the Academy, like what really burned everything down. Like honestly, that's a big thing that's missing.
Yeah, that'll be a fucking book in a couple years.
Yeah.
Like Disney is basically rewriting the extended universe right now. They've released a few books that they said were canon and everything. Yeah, and I imagine like Knights of Ren will be part of that and a few other things.
Yeah, they're setting up other products, and that's like the problem too with like with fucking Disney doing this shit too. It's like honestly a lot of this felt like more of a Marvel movie than a Star Wars movie.
3 Marvel movies. Like it felt like all 3 Avengers crammed into each other with maybe
it was like an Avengers movie
where it was like the first movie is like, here's all your characters, the second movie is a side adventure no one remembers, and then here's the third movie where Avengers split it up into Infinity War and Endgame, where like I feel if it was like Rise of Skywalker followed by Fall of Palpatine. Like,
yeah, it's really strange because it closes a lot of these loops and stories, but like stylistically it felt very different than any other Star Wars movie. And Like, it didn't feel like part of the franchise in some ways.
Well,
you know?
none of these three movies felt like a cohesive trilogy. I mean, I guess we're getting back into the trilogy as a whole, but like, yeah, it didn't feel cohesive between Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. And it's like, even though you have fun with this movie, I think, like I mentioned earlier, it's like a Fast and the Furious movie. Like, when we went to go see Hobbs and Shaw, it's like that's kind of like the solo version of the Fast and Furious. But like, I go out and see Fast 7 and it's Vin Diesel driving cars. I go to Rise of Skywalker and it's a bunch of goofy space adventures. And it's just adventure after adventure after adventure, where I don't know what's the next adventure we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think I don't want to like wrap this up. This seems like a wrapping up.
Oh, no, I don't want to wrap it up.
No, I just want, like, obviously we need to move away from this completely. You know, like, for one, we should take a break from Star Wars.
Yeah. And
we should come back with something really new and really fresh, and away from this whole timeline. Like, just show a completely different fucking era. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what we need to show.
I'm curious what they'll do with because doesn't Rian Johnson still have his own trilogy?
It's still up in the air right now. That might not happen. It might happen.
Yeah, I'm for that. I think if he didn't have all the burden of doing all this other shit, he would make a really cool movie just like on his own, writing it. It'd be sick. Like,
hell yeah,
it'd probably be good.
I mean, I was kind of iffy on him after Last Jedi, and I had some issues with Looper, but like, Knives Out is so fucking good, and like, that's the way to subvert a genre if you're gonna do it. Like, if he had his own side story or own trilogy, I feel like it would be great, because it's like, oh, this is new, this is fresh, and it's not muddling in the thing I like. Like, it's not mixing my peas and mashed potatoes.
Yeah. I just think it was maybe a mistake to have the same director do 2 and not 3. It's like, get different people for each movie, or have one person do all 3. But having someone else, and then another one, it's just like, of course the visions are gonna like kind of clash, because like, I think why wouldn't they? You know what I mean?
I think they were trying to get like a Lawrence Kasdan effect with like Empire Strikes Back, where that movie is so different from New Hope and Return of the Jedi, but it works. But I think that's because the story runs through the 3 movies.
Well, there's a story there, but all those were 3 different directors.
Yeah,
and they planned on having Colin Trevorrow do this one, but they had a lot of disagreements or whatever. And then, of course, the backlash of Last Jedi led to them being like, well, J.J. Abrams is reliable, so we'll have him close the story, and
he'll do it.
Yeah, you kind of have this. You kind of have this clashing of. It just feels like Last Jedi doesn't belong in it. It's weird.
Which is unfortunate, because I think it's the best of the 3. So then it's like funny that
I agree.
It's the best of the 3, but it's also the worst now, because it's like a pimple, and it's just like, get that out of here. Like, it doesn't fit. But also, like, why aren't the other ones like that one? Because that's the one that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks that it's like it had to be like messy like this. But honestly, how else could it be? You're taking this huge IP, and there's so much pressure on it.
I'm just confused how
it's so complicated.
But also,
I'm confused
there's so
how
much
Disney organized Marvel like so well, and you think like Star Wars is, I don't know if it's worth more than Marvel at this point, but it's like a really big franchise. Like, how do you not have like a Kevin Feige type guy mapping out how everything's going to work on the back end? And yes, you can have your fun in your own movies and stuff, but here's the overall plot and how we're going to like wrap everything together.
Well, it is honestly mind-boggling that Disney allowed that to not happen.
Well, I mean, they have Kathleen Kennedy's in charge of it, yeah? They do have a Kevin Feige. It's just Kathleen Kennedy.
But she clearly doesn't know.
But she didn't establish a...
well, it's also not based off...
There's no through line.
It's not based off previous source material either. Like...
Yeah.
like, granted, not every Marvel thing that happened is like something, but there's a general arc already in place for what that storyline is. No, for the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, you're right.
So like,
you're absolutely right.
It's like whatever Marvel does next will be more of a comparison to this because but probably not because it'll probably be based on some other lineage.
I mean, there's endless fucking comics.
Yeah, so why would they make their own?
Yeah.
But
I mean, they could have done all the extended universe stuff where there's a lot of books that LucasArts tried to like keep within canon, and they would edit books that got submitted to them to keep them within canon. Yeah, but like the second Disney bought it, they threw all of that out the window. And I don't think
they should have taken from that, honestly.
Any of that isn't even referenced in this. Like, I thought when I thought Palpatine was coming back, it would be like a reference to the clone Palpatine from some of the comic books and books that came out. But nah, it's just same old Palpatine hooked up to a weird Gladys arm that flops him around in his Sith temple.
I liked the weird arm. It was kind of stupid, but I also kind of liked it.
I wasn't against it.
I think that sums up the whole movie.
Yeah, totally.
But can we talk about the weird Chewbacca fake out? Honestly, that they don't give you
that's
time?
honestly, that's just like, no, this movie is really sloppy because that's just like very poor writing. The whole way that scene played out was just like, what is this?
Well, it's like I knew Chewbacca wasn't going to die because I saw 2 fucking transports there. And then they don't even let you think, oh wait, maybe he really died, because 5 minutes later, here's Chewbacca on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah. Well, I thought for a split second, I was like, really? Is this how they kill Chewbacca? I was like kind of pissed for a moment.
They gave Akbar less bullshit. Of a death.
It's true, but I was like, this is some bullshit. This is like a legendary character. And then I was like, there's no way they'll do that. And then of course they did.
No.
So.
But the way that they explain that though, it's just like there were 2 transports. It's like, okay, what? Like number one, like so the ship landed, and she walks out in front, and you're seeing her leave through the ship, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing like a dirty shot from like over Poe's shoulder, super long lens of her walking, and then he's like, I'm gonna go after her, and then he goes out, and then. The
Knights of Ren are there?
Yeah, the Knights of Ren are there. They kidnap Chewbacca.
Why?
Finn and Rey can't find each other, and Poe's like, where are these guys? We gotta go. It's like, I don't know, look out the fucking window. Everyone, turn to the right. Turn to the left. Like, how does no one see each other right now? They're in a huge open desert. Like, what is going on? Like,
there's like 5 rocks there, and the ship's on top of all of them.
Yeah, the like space of that scene was like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, how is like, why does no one see each other? Like, you should just be standing like over there. Like, you're over there, and then like Kylo lands, he crashes his ship, and then like takes like 10 steps, and then they're next to each other.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of
like,
safety
into the distance, like. I don't know. It's like, am I drunk? Like, what happened in this? I like don't understand like where everyone is.
But the movie doesn't give you time to think about that, so you don't even think about how confusing and like not narcoleptic, schizophrenic that scene is until like you're sitting here analyzing it on a podcast.
It's like the bad version of the Jurassic Park T-Rex scene. You know, the T-Rex comes out. But then there's a cliff, and you're like, wait a second, what? And it, like, makes no sense. It's just like, wait.
Like, why is there a cliff there?
Okay, so Poe's, like, 4 stories up, looking at everything. He sees not Chewbacca, not Rey or Finn, and not 2 transports leave. So,
and
like,
not a spaceship flying in the middle of the desert at full speed.
Yeah, so, like, okay, so he's just, like, blind, I guess. and then they're just, like... They're chasing after each other, and then he crashes, and then Kylo's there, but then, like, where's Finn? And I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but I was just like, I do not understand how this scene is, like,
and then
passing
how
off
do
how
people
this is
get the
happening.
drop on Chewbacca? Like, is he just, it's like Chewbacca's getting dementia, and he just had his senile moment where he walked up to the Knights of Ren to ask for directions. No, I don't
totally. Yeah, that was a little clunky for sure. Yeah.
It's goofy.
And then you find out, Chewbacca's still alive.
I just have a nitpick with that in general. Just killing a character and then just being like, oh yeah, they're like not dead. It's like,
but they didn't even give you time to think he was dead. Like, they didn't commit to it enough to make people who are like, there's no way they killed fucking Chewbacca. Like, they don't even give you time to go, oh no, maybe he's actually dead. Before it's just like, nah, Chewbacca's there.
Yeah. It's like not enough. They like try the fake out and it's like not even enough of a fake out to like make it work.
No. Well, that's the whole thing. Like with JJ, he loves to flip things on you like constantly.
I mean,
which I guess is fine, but like some of them don't work. You know.
I mean, that whole desert scene has one of JJ's mystery boxes in it where Finn's trying to tell Rey something and then it just cuts him off.
Brutal. And then they say it's like they're like, it's not about love, it's about that he's force sensitive. And it's like, yeah, because no one else can know that he's force sensitive.
Yeah, that was like, in an interview after the movie.
Poe to know I'm force sensitive. I can't say it in front of anyone but Rey.
No, he doesn't want Poe to know he's bi, and he has a thing for Rey and him.
Yeah, let's talk about Finn for a second. And I gotta say, like, I don't think he's kind of a pointless character.
He
could have been so interesting.
In yeah,
he could have been so interesting, and he just sort of flounders in this one. It's like, oh, his special thing is he's force sensitive, and he like really cares for Rey. Okay, like that's
but
it.
Like not in like that way though. Rey's just like
cool. But not that way.
Like, I'm not sure because the whole Force Awakens. The whole Force Awakens, he's like, oh, you got a boyfriend? Like, that's like one of their third interactions where it's like, he's clearly slightly interested in her, and I don't know.
Right.
And while I got time,
that's odd.
Like, not to shit on Last Jedi or anything, but it's like Finn could have had a full character arc either at the end of Last Jedi when he was flying straight into the Doom laser, or in the middle where why is the child soldier not telling Rose about how the universe is shitty and there's shitty people all over the place, but there's also still good in it? Why is she telling him that in Last Jedi? Where it's like Finn could have had a character arc, and there are the moments for him to do it in the whole trilogy, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, they just take him like being a stormtrooper as like plot details so that they can like sneak around ships and like know what parts are.
Know what.
They're just like, that's an Empire part. Or like, I know the way, it's this way on the Star Destroyer. Instead of like doing
just a plot device.
Yeah, instead of doing anything interesting with about like how he feels about being a stormtrooper or like anything like that, you know, it's just kind of
so frustrating.
Yeah.
And then he has the Force now. See, he's got a feeling.
It's like, guys, okay, sure, but there's also in Rise of Skywalker, he runs into those other stormtroopers on whatever moon of Endor the Death Star fell on.
Yeah.
And it's like, this movie doesn't give the time to develop that at all. It's literally like 3 or 4 lines where it's like, oh, I thought I was the only one who deserted. No, there's plenty of us like that out in the galaxy.
And you'll never meet them. You'll only meet me.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have the 5 minutes of dialogue to like rest or anything because Rey's already sailing a ship out to the Death Star in 100-foot waves because this movie can't take a break.
I think
no, it can't take a break. Keep going.
I think part of it is
but then
or no, you can go, Wes. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say that then there's the weird connection with that girl that he meets there, right?
So the stormtrooper lady.
And then she's like, I won't leave you, and like there's this instant kind of romantic thing going on, but it's like they just met. It's just like, what is happening? Oh, so now their thing. It's like, what?
Yeah, I like that.
That was so weird.
Like a crazy romantic subplot that's like dominating these movies. But I also don't like that it's like a will they, won't they. It's like, who's Finn gonna go for? Rose, Rey, or this new girl? It's like, how about just like no one, and like it doesn't matter, and there doesn't need to be that tension at all in any of them.
And with all the romance and stuff, it's like it's barely even set up through any of the movies. Where like half the people like, I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if Finn and Poe ended up being a thing, but like
no, it would have
when
been
Rey and Kylo kissed at the end,
Hilarious.
I was like, that confused the shit out of me because I'm like, I thought they had more of like a sibling relationship.
No. So here's where I disagree with you, and I guess we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Dude, there's serious sexual tension in Last Jedi.
Is there?
Yes. When they start to have the connection,
when she's
kind of like
shirtless.
longing. He's sweaty and shirtless.
With Swallow.
They touch hands, and they're in the elevator at that one moment where they look like they're about to kiss in the elevator. Like there's serious tension there where they're like definitely interested because they both are the only ones who like understand each other. That's like the whole thing, right? And so like I like totally wasn't surprised when that happened because I was like, of course, because this for me like I felt like it was building up to something like that. At least not necessarily like full romanticism, but like there's a bond there. There's like a strong bond between them.
I guess I don't like the concept of it being like a strong romantic relationship, but I do like the concept of them kissing and it like not being like super overtly sexual.
Right. Well, it definitely
where it's just
wasn't,
like they have a strong bond and it's just like you're a close person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which I feel like it kind of had that vibe. It wasn't like finally like my love. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I think I liked it on that level. And it didn't.
I agree with you.
I wasn't super surprised by it. I was like, oh, okay. Like, this makes sense, you know?
I don't know if I was surprised by it, but it still, I don't know, it felt off to me, but just because I felt similar to Zach, but I felt more like, oh, they have like a familial relationship, not really a romantic one, and I didn't pick up on any of the signals you were talking about in the Last Jedi, but I guess that explains a lot of my success with dating, so...
I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of articles about it too. So there's stuff like that, and part of the internet feeds into that too. There's a lot of shipping.
Oh no, there's so much shipping
on that whole thing. But
I've watched anime. I know about shipping.
But yeah. But I guess we're going all over the place, but it's fine. That's what this podcast is. But I want to talk about, like, we were talking about how they fought the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
But I did think that whole moment with the lightsaber pulling and then, like, the shrug and, like, seeing Kylo turn was kind of cool.
Oh, where Kylo pulls the lightsaber from his back, like John McClane pulls the gun at the end of Die Hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like. Also, there was some of the. I feel like that setting was one of the more striking, like, visuals, like the long line. Of like the weird hallway that they were in, and like stuff like that. It was like,
that was cool.
I liked that scene. It was fun. It was cool seeing him come. He was just like, oh yeah. It's like, okay, he's here. All right, like, I was in on it.
Yeah, I was about that. And then the whole thing with, I guess, back to the kiss was like he sacrificed himself, and I was fine with that. You know, like, he did terrible things, but that was one thing that like redeemed him, right?
Yeah.
Was like he transferred his power into her and basically resurrected her, and that also feeds into what Leia was doing, which was kind of, I guess she used her Force powers to help him turn good? Question mark?
Yeah. I think it was...
And she used all her Force to turn him, and so she died because it took everything from her, right?
I guess?
Yeah. It was kind of weird. It was kind of like a time where it was like, oh, they ran out of footage. I gotcha. It's
Yeah, and so
I mean, we
this
could
what
get
we were
into
talking
that
about earlier was like, yeah, I mean that was a crux, I think, for this movie too, because they really had to shape the movie around Leia, and it's a horrible and unfortunate thing that she passed, obviously, but like, this movie I feel like would have probably been a lot different if she were alive.
Oh, there's definitely some weird like editing choices with her and like stunted dialogue with Leia. Like, I think they definitely did the best they could, and it's not bad at all, but it's definitely noticeable.
Yeah,
I think that they did the best that they could, but yeah, go ahead, Zach.
It wasn't like when she was in it, I didn't really think much of it, but then there were times where it was like clearly she would be in this part. Like clearly this isn't how you would shoot this. You know, like when she's like lying down on the thing, like that whole sequence, she's being like led off and you like don't see her face for like 5 minutes. It's like you wouldn't shoot this like that. So it has that implication, but when she is present, like I thought they did a good job at incorporating her, but
yeah,
you could just tell it hit a point where
it felt like a good send off to the character. And I mean, definitely the most feelings I felt during the movie was when she used her force powers for Kylo to like turn him, I guess. And but then it cuts to like Chewie finding out, and that part was fucking sad because like Chewie just cries the whole time.
Yeah, he like realizes that she passed.
But then they cut to straight fan service, and he gets the medal from that random lady.
Oh my god,
this movie's so all over the place.
That made me cringe a little bit.
I kind of liked it, but it did make me cringe. But I thought it was. I
kind of liked it too.
I thought it was less giving him the medal and more. Oh, I have this thing that reminded me of Han, and maybe it'll remind you of me and Han. Like, I thought it was more of that and less of, like, definitely movie plot-wise, like, for the audience, we're going to give Chewbacca the medal. But within the context...
it was 100%. Yeah.
Within the context, I kind of felt like I twisted it in my head, I guess, where I'm like, oh, no, she's like, here's like, it's like when Luke gave Leia the lucky dice from Han or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it was kind of like, it was more of that, where it's like, oh, you...
To me, it was 100% fan service. Like, why would she have this medal? Maz Kanata has this medal, which is the exact medal.
Was it Maz or was
Luke...
it
No, it's Maz.
Oh, okay.
Maz
she has
all
the shit. Yeah. She had his lightsaber too.
Maz is just a fucking MacGuffin of like she's got a magic Pandora's box.
What a fucking way to make a character who does nothing. Like, and in Last Jedi, she could have done something.
Less in Last Jedi.
They're like, we need a code breaker, and then they're like, oh, I'm busy doing this.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Just have her in it, and then like she's a character. And then she can be in this one, and it would mean something. But
right?
That was so strange. And just a callback, Zach, to when we talked about that scene in Last Jedi when we reviewed that movie originally. We were talking about like, what you have holograms. Why is she on a flat screen hologram?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, there's like 3D holograms. You have the technology.
Like what?
Why is she on FaceTime?
Yeah, it's so dumb.
What is happening? What is going on? It's so weird.
And she's like fighting people in that movie. What?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It's the worst part.
But yeah, Maz.
Goofy, but once again,
Maz also gets jack all screen time in this movie too. Where I guess she wasn't really a big character, but still.
So like, why have her in it again? It's like she's having her in all 3 movies. Is just like, were you intending on making like another one? Like, why is she in them? You know
it's
what
like
I mean?
They needed a Yoda-style character, but they had Yoda in the movies, so...
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna be talking about this movie for years. It's also so hard not to talk about this in context of The Last Jedi. Like, Force Awakens...
It's really hard.
I mean, this might be podcast material, but Force Awakens is so inconsequential to the trilogy. Like, it's almost as inconsequential as Last Jedi. Where all it really does is set up the characters, and then you get to...
Yep.
It's so disjointed.
So disjointed. Does not feel like a coherent piece of like. It does not. It's not a coherent trilogy at all.
I can see why I've gotten burnout, and I haven't even bothered to go out and get like, fucking Fallen Order and Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian. Like.
Well, let me just say, those are actual good products.
I know they're good, but I kind of, like, at this point, I want to save them for a rainy day, like...
Yeah.
What's this?
We're just talking about he's feeling the burnout of Star Wars, so it's like, he hasn't had the motivation to go, watch Mandalorian or play Jedi Fallen Order, which are both great. That Jedi Fallen Order is a great game. I beat it. It's awesome. And Mandalorian's a great show, but like he's feeling the burnout of Star Wars.
I almost made myself see Rise of Skywalker at 1 a.m. in IMAX on release night because I'm like, you know what? It's probably the last one coming out for a while. I love the series as a whole, and I haven't ever done one on release night. Let me just go out and do it. And then the theater was half empty, and I walked out liking the movie, but like just kind of generally confused.
Yeah. All right, what else is there to talk about?
We were about to, Charlie, you were about to bring up something before I paused.
Yeah, so when Leia uses her force powers to call out to Kylo with whatever sound bites they had left, it leads to him turning around and Harrison Ford looking like he just rolled out of bed onto the Death Star is standing there talking to him, and it's actually like it's not a Force ghost or anything, it's just he's there.
It's a memory, apparently.
Yeah, it's either a memory or it's something slightly jarring.
They say memory. They say, you're just a memory.
I would have just rathered it be a Force ghost. Who cares? Harrison
right?
Ford,
Like, just
he's
fucking
got the Force.
give him Force powers. Yeah.
Make him a little blue. I don't know. It's like the other ones.
But here's the thing. I feel like I both like and see the problem with this scene because, for one, that should have been Carrie Fisher.
Oh no, yeah. That 100% was going to be Carrie Fisher if they had the dialogue for her. But the reason,
right? But they didn't have that, so it's like, so Harrison Ford's alive. Let's get him back and let's recreate this scene. And if they had to do that, I kind of like, in theory, what that scene is, like recreating that scene from Force Awakens.
Oh, I thought it could have been done better, but I like.
But it's like him doing the decision that he like should have done in that moment, right? Which is like not kill his father, but throw his saber and accept the good.
I mean
the light.
That also kind of mirrors the beginning of Last Jedi, where Luke Skywalker throws away the lightsaber.
Right. Yeah. And then there's that moment where they throw Rey throws the saber and Luke catches it.
I was not crazy about that one, personally.
That was definitely a shot at Last Jedi.
Yeah.
It totally was a big fuck you to Last Jedi.
It's just like, it's very groan-inducing because it was also like the one scene with Mark Hamill. And it's like, of course, just like him before Last Jedi came out and being like, it's so good to be back. Love Luke. Love working with Rian Johnson. Like, good, super psyched for the movie.
That's not the review or interview I remember.
Well, no. Afterward, though, he was like, "Actually, I hate it, and I hate everything to do with it, and I disagreed with him the whole time." And it's just like, okay, well, like, sure, dude. Okay, cool. And then he's in this, and honestly, I thought his performance was like not nearly as good as his performance as he was in Last Jedi.
No,
absolutely 100%.
I still thought he was like not fantastic in Last Jedi, but it was like fine.
But he's definitely a consummate professional, but yeah, like he's so good voice acting that it's kind of hard
to like have any expression on your face.
Yeah, him in front of a camera is nothing more than just like, at this point it's just like, oh, that's Mark Hamill in front of the camera. Like, I barely even see Luke Skywalker anymore. Just because he's so old and grizzled. He's kind of
well, he's also very much in pop culture, like and like very much involved with like
he's
social media and like
too much.
Yeah, like he's just a well-known face now.
He's the best Joker. I've taken my username for video games out of his like side character in regular show Skips, and he does like great stuff with like the Fire Lord and a bunch of other little insert things in shows and stuff that comes.
But let me just say, I thought he was really good in Last Jedi. Like he like has the teary eyes, and I thought he put his all into
definitely.
That.
I think he definitely
when he talks about how the Jedi
was good, but I didn't think he was like a great performance to me.
That's fair.
Yeah,
it was a good performance, like for him. Like
I agree. So I thought it was like a really good performance for him, and I was like, okay, he's tried acting really hard here.
Yeah. But I didn't.
But I know what you're saying.
I felt like this one felt weird. He felt.
Oh, I agree.
This one was almost like felt cocky. It seemed like it was like
it was weird.
It was really weird. I did not care for it.
I barely remember his scene. Like I remember him being in the movie, but I don't. Like he talks to Rey when she goes back to the Irish monk temples or whatever, and he lifts up the
Octu.
Yeah, and he lifts up the X-wing, and then they swill with the John Williams soundtrack, and you get all emotional because of that, but not really anything that's actually going on.
Yeah.
Also, John Williams cameo.
Was he in the movie?
He was.
That was John Williams.
Yeah.
You're right.
On the like planet where there's that like bar or whatever.
He's the bartender.
He has like a weird eye patch or something. It was like, whoa, okay,
yeah.
John Williams cameo, all right.
So he finally got his bit part.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He like cleaned a glass for 0.5 seconds.
There's like he has a close up too, and then it cuts away.
Yeah, talking about cameos, how about they put that lady in the skin suit and she did jack all the whole movie. She was in like 3 seconds
Carrie
of it.
Russell?
Yeah, and she just gives Poe a coin, and apparently they have like romantic interest.
See, this is another.
That was so weird.
It's another thing.
So, like,
it's just means to another action figure or something. Like, there's no reason. It's like, well, she needs the coin
the same with
to get on. It's like, or he doesn't, because you can make up any bullshit you want, like you just made up that bullshit coin. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
They could have stolen an Imperial shuttle in like 2 seconds and used that to sneak onto the ship.
Yeah,
like,
or he just like pulls out like a panel in the wall and it's like, I'll hack into the Imperial's shield generator. And then Finn goes, I know how to do it because I used to be a stormtrooper.
Or
and
they
bring
back
2 wires and they can do it. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
or they bring back Benicio del Toro to hack the codes.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It just is like she had a cool helmet that like looked cool, but I don't know what purpose it was. Because it's like, well, you needed to get them to that planet so that they could crack C-3PO's head, which was also just a thing that could easily just happen. That's just a complication that's added to the movie for no reason.
I mean, this was almost a swan song to C-3PO more than any other character.
He had a lot of involvement.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were really mean to him.
Well, I mean,
I felt bad for C-3PO.
They shit on him most of the original trilogy.
Others. Oh, totally. But they were like overtly mean.
Well, none of these characters have a connection to him, really. He's kind of just there on the ship and then he like is basically an obstacle to them getting to what they want.
He felt insignificant in a movie that was trying to make him have big moments.
Yeah, where he's like, oh, I want to take one last look at my friends. And it's like, your only friend there's Chewbacca, and then Babu Frick, your oldest friend.
Yeah. That was interesting, too. I did like the fact that he couldn't, like, translate Sith. Like, that was against his programming.
That seemed interesting, but why was that in there if, like, the Siths were the one who reprogrammed him after Order 66?
Well, it was the Empire, and I guess that's technically a little different from the Sith.
Yeah.
Even though it's run by a Sith person, but you know what I mean. Sith is like a culture that was like that died out.
Also, like, how would Anakin in Tatooine know how to program Sith language into him? But
listen,
I guess there's anything on the internet. Chappie hacked 4 PlayStations to figure out the human consciousness. So.
Chappie.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that movie.
Hey, Chappie's a good bad movie, and I'll stand by that verdict.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's so bad. But this is about C-3PO.
Well-intentioned, but poor execution.
I agreed, but
I don't know. It just seemed like this movie. So, like, once again, I'm sorry, bringing it back to Last Jedi. Worst part, I feel like consensus is this offshoot where they go to this casino. And they're there for some stupid thing that they have to do to get the thing, to do the next thing. But this movie was literally all those. This movie was like all casino scenes. Where it was just like, we need to get the thing to get the next thing. And then they get the thing and they're like, all right, on to the next thing. And then they have to go get that thing. but there's a complication, so they got to go do this thing. And, like, that's fine. I get that that's the space adventure, and if they just went from A to B, it wouldn't be as fun. But it just seems so long, and there's, like, man, there's so much to get in. And it's like, yeah, but also, like, how about they don't need a coin? Or how about, like, C-3PO can just translate it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or how about we don't fake out the Chewie death?
Yeah, it's like you're writing... I get that there's so much to do, but also you're making these problems for yourself in this movie.
Right.
Like, you're
making it harder.
You're also doing, aside from all the stuff that you need to do to wrap up all the threads that are already there, you're adding threads for no reason. Like, you don't need to add these threads. You know what I mean?
Threads and confusion.
It's this, like, overstuffed thing where it's like, man, there's so much going on, so much we had to finish. It's like, okay, but, like, how about there's not enough time for a group of abandoned stormtroopers? Like, that's a cool idea, but, like, also, why did you toss this on top of an overflowing pot already? You know what I mean? There's just, like, I didn't think they did any favors to themselves by adding so much. Like, adding a cool character that's Babu Frick, that's this tiny little alien guy, is fun. But adding some of these other things that are, like, longer through lines, like Carrie Russell, like, am I supposed to care about this character because she shows up one other time? It just
Can I mention that people cheered for the Porgs in my showing?
Really?
Yeah, when they went back to the Jedi temples and the Porgs showed up,
that.
people, like, cheered a bit.
Porgs are cute, man.
But
yeah, totally.
I think yeah, your argument there goes to, like, what I said earlier, where it just felt like a whole season of a TV show crammed into, like, a 2.5-3 hour movie of just, like, here's like a 2-episode arc, and here's a 2-episode arc, and here's a 2-episode arc, and it just constantly those little vignettes that can't breathe in a movie format.
Going back to Carrie Russell, it's like, I thought her character was very poorly written, because it starts out by saying, okay, I have this huge, you owe me so much money, and I have this huge grudge against you, and this is terrible. I'll never forgive you. Next scene, I'm in love with you. It's just like, what? Yeah. Like, she basically says that, she gives up her one ticket out of that fucking planet.
But apparently she had a ticket out of the planet, because she shows up at the end of the fucking movie with Babu.
It just doesn't make any sense. And then it's just stupid.
It makes no sense, but then also the defense is like, well, there's not enough time for any Rose Tico storyline. It's like, okay, but there's enough time for, like, sexy Boba Fett storyline. So, like, like, what is this? Like,
and
I don't
also
the
mystery box of Poe being a spice runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I guess he's got to feed that spice for Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think that just leads into the disjointedness of basically everything.
I feel like we could pick apart this thing forever and ever, you know what
I mean? We've skipped like 5 or 6 scenes that I have in the back of my head.
Is there something you want to mention?
No, not really, because we'll just keep digging into it and make it sound like we all hated the movie when I don't think any of us really hated it. We all just...
No, I didn't hate it. It's just the thing that, like, the more I think about it, the less I think it's good.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't think I thought it was good. Yeah, I don't think I ever thought it was good when I first walked out of the theater, but I was like, you know what? I had fun with that, and that's more than I can say for, like, some of the other movies I've gone to in, like, recent times. Or
it's just such a bummer because it's like, I get that, because I'm also doing the same thing where, like, I went in, I just wanted to have fun watching it and be like, I just want to enjoy it and, like, have it be fun. But then to have to settle on, like, one of the biggest franchises closers, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, but, like, why does it have to settle? Why couldn't it just be, like, fucking good? You know what I mean? Like, that's a bummer, you know?
Right, exactly. That's what it comes down to, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a bummer.
I also think, though, the movie is so fast. I don't give a shit if this movie's 3 hours long. what Star Wars fan is going to be like, man, give me less Star Wars for the finale of the 9 episodes?
Right.
It's definitely like, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and there was like, I needed to use the bathroom halfway through the movie, and I'm like, I can't fucking use the bathroom. I'm going to miss something.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
it just, there's no breaks in the movie, and it just, it's
break.
3 hours
go to the bathroom. Well, it's not. It's 2 hours 20. It should be 3 hours. I'm just saying, like, it felt so rushed. Like, just make it 3 hours. I don't give a shit. I think the movie would have been way better if it was 40 minutes longer and it had time to flesh all that out, you know?
I'm curious if this will get like a Lord of the Rings director's cut.
That would be
director's
cool.
cut edition, where it's kind of like,
I'd be into it.
Here's the movie where it can breathe a bit more. Like, I honestly remember Return of the King's director's cut a lot more, because there's like a whole scene of Aragorn talking to the undead army and him like making the deal with him, and that doesn't happen in the theatrical cut. And you're kind of just like, well, where the fuck did Aragorn get this army? Did he just wave his big fucking sword at them and they joined him? Like, that doesn't make sense. But like, in the director's cut, it makes perfect sense. So I'm curious if like the Blu-ray or whatever of this will have a director's cut where we get that extra 30-40 minutes of footage that explain and give us the breathing room that we would have wanted in this movie.
Because I don't think...
Who knows how much was actually cut out of this thing?
Yeah.
You know? Who knows?
Maybe not much. It just seems like... I don't understand this need. Like, this is the time to make it fucking long and indulgent. Like, now is the time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The last
it's like,
movie.
It's just too... we can't do it. There's not enough time. It's like, yeah, there is. Make it 20 minutes longer. No one fucking cares.
You have a lot to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shorter than Last Jedi, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Last Jedi is the longest Star Wars movie.
Yeah, like this should have been at least as long or longer than Last Jedi, but I don't know, because there were some deleted scenes from Last Jedi that was just a bunch of that weird cringy humor that movie like shoehorned in, where I'm wondering what, like, if the deleted scenes would lead to like a director's cut of this movie, or if it's just like more stuff like that.
Yeah. I bet there's a lot of stuff that's like not good that got cut out.
Oh,
that's always the case.
I'm sure.
That's like, the case with basically every movie ever.
Yeah.
Now, supposedly Rose did have a bigger part, but it didn't quite work well enough with the Carrie Fisher footage. And she was sort of their anchor that they wrote for her to be like sort of the anchor to Carrie Fisher to make it all work. And I guess some scenes were just like not working.
I guess that's true. Like,
maybe that's why it seems like she has an even smaller part. I mean, she definitely had a cut down role, but apparently in the script she had a slightly bigger role than what we see on screen.
Maybe in the director's cut there will just be a bunch of scary CGI Carrie Fisher footage.
Yeah. Of like them young. Yeah. I guess we never touched on that, what we thought of them CG young Carrie Fisher and Luke.
I don't think we touched on that at all.
I thought the training was interesting. No, we haven't. I thought the training scene was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I was like, all right, cool.
It was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, but it was like, oh, okay, she did get trained, you know, by Luke.
Yeah, she was a Jedi. I did quotes there.
Yeah. and she turned away.
Yeah.
You know, she turned away from it. She had her own lightsaber.
Which Rey gets, and then somehow ends up on Tatooine and buries them next to the houses where Anakin grew up, and then there's an old lady there and asks her what her name is. And
yeah, so let's definitely we need to talk about that scene. And so here's my kind of theory, and I don't know if it's even like a theory, it might actually be what they're trying to say, but so like when Kylo dies, and he sacrifices Force energy, there's all this talk about here's all the Sith and me, and I have all the Jedi and this and Rey. So I think he doesn't become a Force ghost. Kylo Ren doesn't. So I think he becomes part of her. And so like her going to Tatooine to bury those sabers, she doesn't have a tie there. She's not a Skywalker, really. Why would she go to Tatooine? I think that she's doing that for him, to sort of like bury the Skywalker past.
He doesn't really have a tie there either, because his parents were Han Solo, who just kind of bumped around systems, and Leia, whose planet blew up.
But it's where the Skywalkers originated, was Tatooine. So it's like, I think that's I think that's the message there. And then she has her own she created her own lightsaber too.
Which I don't want to be that guy, but somehow I just fucking knew she was gonna have a yellow lightsaber. I was like, when she pulled out the other lightsaber that was Carrie Fisher's, I was like, is that gonna be fucking yellow? And she turns it on and it's not. It's like
at the end.
Okay. Yeah, and
at the end when she has her own saber.
I thought it was gonna be white. Like, there's a point in Star Wars Rebels where Ahsoka Tano shows up again, and she has white lightsabers because she kind of gave up on the Jedi but didn't become a Sith, and is still like a Force user. And in extended universe and everything, the Jedis or Sith that find the in-between generally carry the white lightsabers.
They're like the neutral ones.
Yeah. I mean, so I thought it was going to be that color, but I mean, I guess there is some extended universe stuff with the yellow lightsaber, but I don't remember what it was.
There is stuff. Well, Luke had a yellow lightsaber.
He had a green lightsaber.
But after the green, he made a yellow.
Did he make a yellow one?
Mm-hmm. An extended universe.
Okay. Like when he was with
extended.
Mara Jade.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's gone now, so like
doesn't matter.
That was but that was like a bit of fan service too, like, oh, yellow, so it's like now that's canon again,
I just thought it was a little weird that, like, I get the ending, but I don't know. I also think that I heard this opinion somewhere, and I kind of agree with it, that after they retcon Han Solo's name being Solo because he's alone, and then he creates this name for himself,
which is the worst part of
why would she be
I
a Solo?
enjoy that movie so thoroughly, but then that's oh god damn.
You know what I mean, though?
It's so bad.
Like, why? And also, I think it's stronger for me if she was a Palpatine, because she like recontextualized what that means and like brought it back. But instead, it's like, I guess it didn't feel impactful in the way that I think they were intending it to for me. But also, I mean, I get why they end the movie that way for sure.
It also just kind of felt awkward, like her saying she's a Skywalker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think she has, like, her and Kylo are one, and they talk about this throughout the movie too. They're one of the same side, like different sides of the Force, and when they come together, they're like a new being. They're the start of something new.
I think I would have liked it better if she kind of just accepted being nobody.
Well, that goes back to I mean, it would have been better if she was nobody.
Yeah.
Well, not even.
It would have been.
She
better.
could be a Palpatine, but if she just kind of like went like, "Oh, I'm just Rey," like at the end of the movie, I would have enjoyed that more than her saying she was a Skywalker, because that just it feels like she's putting on so much. Like does Luke care about you that much? Like, I thought you had more of a father figure in Han and a mother figure in Leia. Like they weren't Skywalkers, they were Solos.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you?
And Kylo Ren's a Solo too.
Yeah, like, wouldn't you pick Solo over Skywalker? She has no connection to the Skywalker name.
Well.
I mean, she does have a connection.
Kylo is half Skywalker, and Leia is a Skywalker, even though.
But she had such a bigger connection with Han. Even like, I think her connection with Han was almost as good as her one with Ben or Kylo. It was definitely more with Kylo, but it was still Ben Solo. And Leia was just kind of.
I don't know. I do agree though with you. I think it would have been interesting if they're like, "What's your last name?" She goes, "I'm just Rey," or something like that, because she says that earlier in the movie. If she's just like didn't have a last name,
and she kind of like came to terms with that, that would have been more of a character arc than her saying Skywalker. But I guess the movie's called Rise of Skywalker, and
I think it also goes back to like the concept that I think Last Jedi was trying to set up with that, like, fuck the lineage, like, you can be whatever you want. If you want to be a Jedi, like, anyone can be a Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, anyone's a hero, which is like is good. You know,
it's a good message.
Yeah, and then it's like, no, actually, you have to be a Palpatine or a Skywalker. And then at the end, she's like, I'm a Skywalker. And it's like, okay, well, it's
a big fuck you to Last Jedi completely. All the themes of that movie are out the fucking window.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's just kind of a bummer. And I think that the end, because I felt that way about the rest of it, it made the ending less impactful, because it was like, yeah, but like, what is that? What's that doing for me right now that you're a Skywalker?
I had a theory for what this movie was going to be, and I was completely wrong. But like seeing the title, The Rise of Skywalker, I thought Skywalker was going to be the new Jedi.
Yeah, I thought she was going to start like a Skywalker Academy.
Right, because of the themes of Last Jedi, where no Jedi, no Sith, whatever. I thought it was going to be about like moving beyond these forces of good and evil fighting each other, and like finding like a good balance of the Force, which they talk about in Last Jedi.
Yeah,
balancing the Force, and I thought her and Kylo would be this balance together, and then they would start the Skywalkers, which would be like the new Jedi. That's what I wanted.
Well, that would have been a nice balanced ending that made sense, Wes. And why would they do that?
Yeah, why would anything in this trilogy be consistent?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we talked about the end of the movie just there, and it's probably better to wrap up. But do we want to mention Billy D?
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah,
mention him
we
at all.
need to at least mention. We do.
I think he looked like he was just there and was having a good time. Fucking
at times was maybe a little distracting when like they're like, man, we're all gonna fucking die. Like, this is crazy. And then he's like, ha ha, we're here, baby. All right.
just Billy
laughing,
D in the fucking Falcon with
like lasers,
and Young Nubs there, whatever his name was.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, you just like shot like 100 people and you're like laughing, you know, just like, all right, maybe tone it down a little bit. Like, I get you're having a good time.
Tone it down a little bit, Billy.
Yeah. And it's like,
yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, and when they're at the Burning Man festival and run into him, and you just see this guy in a mask, and like right away I was like, that's Lando. And then
absolutely Lando.
I knew immediately it was Lando.
And then he's just there, and he gives them like 3 lines of exposition, and then doesn't show up for the next 2 hours.
It's like, well, you guys better go. My screen time's up.
Yeah.
Did anyone else with that scene at the end with the new girl? I don't remember.
Yeah, was that supposed to be his daughter or some shit?
I don't think so.
That I got like
brutal.
I got that it was like he was hitting on her. It was very awkward.
I did not like that.
That was just some side footage they caught of Billy D hitting on the actress.
So she's like, I don't know where I come from. He goes, well, let's find out. What?
Yeah, that was
no,
weird.
But
anyway you twist it, that scene was a little weird.
Supposedly, that is his daughter, though, and that is a literal product setup for like comics and possible other films.
Oh, but
which pisses me off.
Is that like
it's annoying.
Real, or is that just like conjecture and people spouting nonsense?
In the visual dictionary thing that's coming out for The Rise of Skywalker, it confirms in that encyclopedia that she is the daughter of
Was
Lando.
he part of the deal that was getting worse all the time?
So stupid.
I don't know how it came about, but like literally, and how did he give her up and she became a stormtrooper?
I don't think. I mean, they kind of just abducted them.
It's
so
fucking dumb.
It's true.
No
it's true. But I don't know. It's stupid.
Like, hey, what if this like one girl was like Lando's daughter, and everyone's like, yeah, lineage rules, dude. Get her in here. Everyone's got to have a daughter and a dad.
I mean, there's only like 4 black people in the universe.
Hey, guys.
So.
Yeah, guys. It's one black woman in this whole galaxy. It has to be Lando's.
Yeah, and she also has to connect with Finn only.
Yeah, she can only have a romantic relationship with another African American. It's so stupid.
Oh, but they had the lesbian kiss for 3 seconds, guys. They're so inclusive.
And I don't mind that, but
it's
the movie is very pandering. It's so pandering.
Yeah, it's pandering. And it's a thing where it's like, I have no problem with that, and I like that it's kind of just nonchalantly in the movie. But yeah, it sucks because it's so calculated.
Yeah.
That it's just like, yeah, it's good, but also like you could just feel like the Disney like Palpatine just like gaining the brownie points, like yes, like yes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a big
yes.
I thought there was a big like stink from the LGBT community about that, like that it was just so calculated in this movie. But that's side stuff, not about the movies.
I mean, it is, but it's like,
well, it's also just like it's hard to work that shit in a movie that like already has like no time
to do anything,
to, like
right,
any relationship, let alone like conveying like a like gay relationship in a way that's realistic and also not drawing attention to itself to be pandering. Because you can't just have like, because the way it needs to work is that characters are just gay and that's how it is and it doesn't fucking matter. But in Star Wars, you can't have like a guy on a computer like with a ship exploding being like, I'm hacking into the mainframe. Let me call my boyfriend and see if he can come help. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to like work these things in a natural way because it's some fucking insane scenario that they're in. You know what I mean?
It's some
they're like,
oh my god, has to be introduced, right?
Yeah,
like,
they're like, oh, this fucking planet that Palpatine has that we've never heard of before. Everyone knows about it. My girlfriend told me about it. It's like you can't work it in a way that's natural. So that's about as natural as you can do it. But it's just like it's become such a thing. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
I know.
It's just like fucking 5 seconds. Like, it's weird.
All right, random thought. Another random thought that I had was, I absolutely hated the name of like the Sith planet.
It's a dumb name for a planet, and it's also dumb that
Hexacle.
Okay, they didn't know this planet existed in any of the other movies. Like, why is there no mention of this planet? And if there isn't a mention of this planet, why do they pretend like everyone knows? Like they're like, hey, there's this like planet Hexagon. They're like, oh yeah, of course, the Sith planet. And it's like,
and they kept saying it too.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
And it's like, wait, everyone knew this? Because I didn't, and I've watched a lot of them, and they don't mention it. So why would they be like, wait, a Sith planet?
Yeah, there's.
Hold on, no. Guys. We're talking all over each other. So, real quickly, Hexacle was a hidden planet that the Emperor like hid from the rest of the galaxy.
Are you on Wikipedia?
Right? And so the only no. This is from the movie. So the only way that other people found it was because they found the path, and then Rey like shared that path to other people, right?
Yeah.
That was my interpretation.
Yeah.
So she shared that with everybody, but then the Star Destroyers couldn't get out of it because they took down the beacon.
Yeah.
Right.
It's goofy. My main problem is just with the fact that no one knew about it. Like, or I guess everyone knew about it, but they don't establish it in the movies. Like, just establish that there's, like, oh, Snoke, he's from this weird fucking Sith planet. The Knights of Ren, they know about the Sith planet, and you're like, wow, the Sith planet sounds fucking crazy. You know what I mean? But it's literally never mentioned, and then in the first 3 minutes of this movie, like, hey, this really important thing that they're searching for the whole movie, everyone knew about it the whole time. And it's just like, well, why? It just goes back to, like, the way that these were not, like, conceived together. You know what I mean? Because if they were, there would absolutely be mention of this planet. Maybe you don't say the name, but, like,
well, there would have been the Thanos shot. There would have been the Thanos shot of the Emperor at the end of the first movie or the second movie.
Yeah.
Which showed him, like, lording over his weird Sith domain, and you're like, oh, what's that? Who's that guy that's commanding everything behind the scenes? And you might not think it's the Emperor because they might just show a dude in a hood.
Or Snoke never would have been a thing, and it just would have been the Emperor the whole time.
Yeah.
But
I don't necessarily mind it, I guess, conceptually, but it's just, like, not executed super well. Because the thought of him just being like, yeah, y'all are dumb. Like, I've been here the whole time. You thought this shit was different? It's the fucking same. Like, look at these stormtroopers. First order my ass. You know what I mean? Like, it's, like, that's a good concept.
The final order.
It's like, yeah, Snoke's dumb. I got a bin of him over here. He's just it's a shell of the same thing. I've been behind it the whole time, you fucking idiot. Like, but
yeah,
it's, like, good as a meta thing, but it's just, like, clearly not what was in the intent behind it. So it's like it just feels a little cheap.
What I was just trying to say is I just thought the name was stupid.
It's a dumb name for sure.
I mean, it's not a great name.
Hexical.
I don't know why they didn't pick
and they say it so much.
Like there's plenty of Sith planets with cool names in the extended universe.
It just sounds so made up.
Yeah, it's very writery. And you're right that they do reference it a lot because it's like the thing that they're looking for, so they have to say it to like make you remember when someone else brings it up that like that's the thing that they're going to.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, Hex. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we gotta go to Hex. Gotta go there. Like,
all right, we gotta wrap up. Yeah. Any quick final thoughts? I know that's almost an impossible question, but I guess we could just. Well, I guess we should say, I guess we all kind of felt the same, right? Like,
yeah.
We really had fun with it. We liked it. We enjoyed it. But it's a convoluted mess overall. It's almost disappointing end to the entire saga.
Once you take the blinders off,
it's a mess. Yeah,
like when the blinders are on, fun time. I saw it in 3D. The 3D was sick. Looked good. I was like, this is fun. But I do think, I guess one last general point, I'll try to be brief, is that I think after seeing this one, it set in that it's just like the original movies are good because they're reserved and hold themselves to a point where they can do these things. And I think part of that was just the necessity of the way you had to make the movie at that point. Like, you can't have CG ships spinning in spirals and, like, crazy CG aliens every scene because, like, you literally can't do it. So it made those moments when those are happening higher highs and really substantial. Whereas when something's happening every 5-10 minutes, it just, like, dulls the whole thing where nothing felt like a standout of the movie. There were no, like, strong moments. You know what I mean? Like, it was fun, and I enjoyed watching it, but I felt like it kind of flatlined at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, what do you rate it?
I guess, like, a 3.
Charlie?
I mean, I kind of have a lot of the similar opinions to you guys, like you mentioned, but I don't want to like feel like we've been shitting on the movie basically for the last hour or two, but I did thoroughly enjoy it in the moment, and I had fun with it, and like I mentioned, it's kind of like it feels episodic. It feels like a Fast and the Furious popcorn movie. Like, if you're just gonna go in with low expectations, you're gonna have fun with it. But I don't think it's that good at all, and I don't think it's just, like, digging into it more. Like, I'd hate to dig into a movie that I say is just a fun popcorn thing and just break it apart piece by piece. But that's what you do with Star Wars at this point. Like, it's been established.
Yep.
And the more I dig into it, the more I just see that there's nothing down there. Like, I'm digging down the wrong mine shaft. It's a fun movie, but it's all pretty surface level. Like, the second you try and look past that or try and make sense of anything, you're not really gonna find any answers there. And I don't know if that's due to like the disjointedness of the trilogy as a whole, or JJ's mystery box, or just kind of like poor planning. But I mean, on its own, it's a fun movie, and it doesn't really develop on some of the characters that some people might want it to. But it's like, it's a middle of the road movie. Like, I'll watch it again because I like Star Wars, but it's definitely not my favorite Star Wars movie. So I'd say like a 2.5 star.
Okay.
Yeah, it's middle of the road.
Yeah, I give it 3 stars. Pretty much the same. I enjoyed it, and then like I said earlier, I liked it a lot more the second time. Because the second, like, all these movies I have to watch at least several times because like the first one I analyze it so much, and I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm like holding my breath, And in the second time, I kind of get to enjoy it a little bit more because I know what's going to happen and sort of just know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie basically is. It's you have a good time. You get to see some cool visuals. There's some cool Force stuff introduced. I had a lot of fun with like a lot of the Force powers that are shown. I like how it explores and expands the mythos a little bit, and it builds on some good things that The Last Jedi introduced, but then it discontinues and doesn't bring forward a lot of ideas, which would have been more interesting. But yeah, pretty much the same as you guys. I land kind of in the middle of the road. It is my least favorite of the new trilogy.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. So, but I still place this, I go back and forth. It's a tie, I think, between this and episode 3 in my ranking.
Like overall?
Like overall, yeah.
I don't even know how I'd rank all the Star Wars movies at this point, honestly.
Too had. Actually, maybe not.
Maybe I did it.
Do it very easily.
For me, obviously, originals.
Yeah.
Then it's the sequel trilogy, and then the prequel trilogy is last.
I mean, are we just talking about Rise of Skywalker? Or like not Rise of Skywalker, but like the Skywalker saga? Or are we including like Solo and Rogue One and
what? I've also included those. I have a ranking on Letterboxd. I included those too. But just now we're talking Skywalker saga.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
Well, let's...
Nothing's going to beat the originals.
Real quick, though. Official order. Just jog through the order. Let's hear it.
All right, let me pull it up.
Yeah, let's hear... Wes, what are you on Letterboxd.com?
I am... just look at my name, Wes Ford. I don't even know what my username is.
I think it's Wes R. Ford.
Yeah, I think it's Wes
R. Ford. Yeah, that's what it is.
Using your real name there.
Yep, professional, So my Star Wars ranking, I already know the top 3 to begin with. Number 1 is Empire Strikes Back.
Of course.
It's my favorite. Number 2 is Star Wars, A New Hope. Number 3, Return of the Jedi. Number 4, The Last Jedi. Then it goes Force Awakens, Rogue One, then Rise of Skywalker. Then episode 3, then Solo, and then 1 and 2.
Huh, you rate episode 3 higher than Solo?
Yeah, I think I just recently switched that. But those are really close to me.
I don't know if I can insert Solo.
Because I rewatched 3. I rewatched episode 3. Pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
Overall. I mean, there's a lot of... That's an epic movie.
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, I fell asleep to it on New Year's when I was trying to rewatch it, so I can't really attest to that. I do know episode 2 is a fucking slog and a half. Like, that is bar none the worst one.
I don't know.
You think there's some funny quotes from it, but honestly, like, there's so few and far between.
Dude, and here's the thing. After rewatching them, that CG technology that they use does not hold up.
Oh, no.
You can tell they're never on a set.
Yeah.
They're never on a fucking set. It's horrible.
It's pretty bad.
It does not age well, and no one should ever make a movie completely like that, like all CG like that, ever again.
It's pretty
because
bad.
as soon as you do, it's out of date.
Yeah.
It looks horrible. So, yeah, that's the big thing I take away from the prequels now. They just look like shit.
Yeah. They're 1080 masters, aren't they? At least episode 2, I think, is a 1080 master.
Yeah. I mean, it's exported in 4K, but it's blown up, Yeah.
Now, where do you rank the Star Wars Holiday Special in your list?
Number 2, baby.
To be honest with you, I've never seen it all the way through.
I have it on DVD if you ever want to borrow it.
Yeah, man, it's a time. It's a time watching things.
if you
watch the whole
Charlie,
thing.
bring it into work.
If you think episode 2 is painful, my lord, you have not seen the holiday special.
The
like
holiday
episode
special
2
is
sucks.
long. It's fucking long.
Oh
it's
my
like,
god.
Oh my god. This fucking thing's still
It's long?
on. Like
it
I
just
don't,
keeps
it could
going.
Be 30 minutes, but it felt like hours. I was like, oh my god, this thing is so long.
No, I think it's like 2 hours long. I'm not sure on that, but
yeah, I can't trust my remembrance of that movie because it was so fucking weird. Like, it's beautiful. I don't know what
I want to see it. Charlie, bring it in.
My order is. I'm probably Jedi, Empire, New Hope, 3, 1.
Wait, which Jedi?
Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Episode 3. Either Force Awakens or Episode 1, I feel like are tied for me. And then... Last Jedi. And Last Jedi is probably better. And then Episode 1. And then Force Awakens. And then Rise of Skywalker. And then Clones. I think that's fine.
What about Solo? Where's Solo fit in there? Where's Rogue One?
Solo and Rogue One probably after Last Jedi.
Okay.
Before Episode 1.
So you got a more mixture in there. You got more of a mixture.
Yeah. 3 at the top.
Where you're
though,
like yours are jumbled up.
3 at the top.
Yeah. Right, of course.
But I guess different than the standard order. I don't know why I think maybe I watched Empire Strikes Back too many times when I was a kid. Like I watched it too much.
I think I watched so much of the Hoth scene, and then I would just like pause my VHS and move on to the next thing. And so like actually fully watching Empire Strike Back as an adult has made that movie like better for me, but I don't know.
I think I watched it one summer. I watched it every week, so
yeah.
Wow.
We would always
it's
go
great.
to the library to rent a tape, and I would always be like, I want to rent Empire Strikes Back, and it was like, well, that one costs $1 and the other ones are free, and I was like, I want Empire Strikes Back.
Oh man.
What about you, Charlie? Where do you rank them?
I think I have to go. So I think I go 1, 2, 3 in order of the films. So A New Hope, Empire, then Return of the Jedi. So like that as far as what I like the most. I'm having trouble with number 4 because I'm not a fan of The Last Jedi, but I respect that it's a good movie. Like that is a quality film. And I think that sneaks in at number 4 because I think it's a more competently made film than 5, or not 5, not 5. Yeah. So I think Last Jedi sneaks in just ahead of Force Awakens, just on like cinematography and score and just kind of like the ideas of it. I wasn't a big fan of the execution. Like personally, not a big fan, but it kind of leads into the objective or subjective of movies. And then I think I put Solo at number 6. I thoroughly enjoyed Solo. I liked how it was a small adventure. I think.
Yep, I agree.
I think then I go with Rise of Skywalker at 7. Then I go with Episode 3 at 8, followed by Rogue One, Episode 1, and Episode 2. But if we're talking about good bad movies, Episode 1 is the best good bad movie out of all of them. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, I think if you want like a fun movie to watch with your friends and you're kind of sick of The Room and some of those other things and you want to try something new, go for Episode 1 or maybe check out John Travolta's Battlefield Earth. Like they're both just these goofy sci-fi movies with really weird ideas and lots of questionable decisions.
I think,
but you also have a great moment that's actually good, which is I still think one of the best lightsaber fights. Saga.
It's really helped by John Williams because I honestly think Duel of the Fates is the best Star Wars song.
It's a great one.
It's so good. But yeah, I think my ranking is a bit different than your guys, but
ours are all a little different. Yeah. Very cool. All right. Well, we are running real long, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. As always, you can find other episodes of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Follow us on Facebook, and if you enjoy the show, leave us a review on iTunes, because every rating brings more listeners. You can email us at listentousrantaboutmovies@gmail.com.
Also follow us on Twitter. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Sean Pierce, and our other Patreon supporters. You too can be a producer and or supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1. Visit www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast. That's going to do it for this episode. Great talk, guys. That was awesome.
Oh, thanks for having me.
For sure.
Thanks for coming on, Charlie. It was a great discussion. So, until next time, I'm sure there will be more discussions of these movies in the future.
Definitely. I'm surprised you guys aren't going to do a Mandalorian special with the finale a couple weeks back.
We'll have to probably discuss that at some point. Yeah.
Well, I just signed you up for it if this makes the edit.
All right, I'll take that.
All right, guys. All right, take it easy.
Take it easy.